consecutive year. That would be just the second time in program history. It'll be the Chat. It'll be the Mocs football first. Gamecocks will kick it off. Carolina and Garnet. UT Chattanooga and white as Joseph Parker takes a knee. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 25. It'll be our first look at the Mocs offense, led by their starting quarterback Nick Tianu. He's a former Mississippi State Bulldog. He transferred and went back to his hometown of Chattanooga, Tennessee. A young man that they really like running this offense, Barrett.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the quarterback frame, you can see a lot of the skill sets that Dan Mullen saw when he recruited him to Mississippi State. So he certainly has a live arm. He's been a little bit inconsistent this year at times, but has some talented receivers to throw the football to.
Yeah, including number 19, Bryce Nunnally, who's already got 1,000 yards receiving. Bryce the lone back on 1st down, and they'll go play action. Hot pursuit for the backside. Deep ball down the sideline and caught at the 35 down to the 30-yard line, who they think is going to be an NFL target.
Yeah, Bryce Nunnally is an absolute stud and also just a great player, made every kind of academic team. He's a guy that they'll go to early and often tonight. It's no secret. I think the weakness of this defense is in the secondary. I know they've gotten gashed in the run game, but really when you look at kind of where they've lost a lot of guys to injury, this Gamecock secondary extremely young. Out and up goes for 45 yards for that young man, Bryce Nunnally, who has torn it up this year in the Southern Conference. And again, they believe he's got a chance to make it on Sundays. Back to the air and incomplete, intended for Joseph Parker, their number 3 wide receiver. You mentioned it, Barrett, and it's hard not to talk about this Gamecock team and reference what happened last week. They looked to be in control of the game against Florida, and then that defense got gashed from about midway through the 3rd quarter on. The secondary's banged up. They're starting 2 freshmen tonight at safety, so it'll be a big chance for them to kind of redeem themselves tonight. Yeah, going back and watching that tape, I think the lack of depth really showed up. They really don't have a whole lot of guys past this 1st string. Price, Sherrod Green, first one there on the tackle. I expect UT Chattanooga to try to throw it around the yard tonight. Like we said, they have a quarterback. They've got a few receivers. The big question for me is, can this offensive line protect? South Carolina, another one of their deficiencies all year has been getting pressure on the quarterback. But this O-line has been a little bit suspect at times. I think South Carolina's really going to try to pressure Nick Tianu early, get him shaking a little bit. 3rd down and 5 from the 25 of the Gamecocks. 5 in the pattern and incomplete. Tried a little crossing pattern to Will Young, who's their number 2 wideout. Good coverage on the play and a field goal attempt upcoming for the Mocs. Nice job right there by number 5, Keir Thomas, getting up in the face of Nick Tianu and not letting him make the connection to his receiver. So after an explosive play, the Gamecocks do settle down and force a field goal try. It'll be from Thomas Burks. Has it blocked. Blocked at the line, and Chattanooga will come up empty. Let's see who got his big paw in on it. Let's see if we can take a look here. See a lot of people on the sidelines hitting Javon Kinlaw on the helmet. Let's see if big Javon, right there in the middle, getting his big paws up there. And Javon Kinlaw, guys, 6'6", 300 pounds. Started at 340 when he came here. I bet he didn't quite have the vertical, Mike Morgan, to jump up and block that when he originally came. That's where that lost weight comes in handy. A blocked field goal there by Javon Kinlaw. A nice play. He shed 40 pounds, got a little more hops. So our first look at the Gamecock offense led by Jake Bentley, the junior. Throws complete to Shi Smith for a gain of about 5. It'll be 2nd and manageable for this Carolina offense, which has really played well here of late, including most of that game against Florida. 42 career touchdown passes for Jake Bentley. If he stays healthy, a good chance that he'll surpass Steve Tannehill for the all-time mark in that category. Another pass and another good result. That'll be a 1st down to Deebo Samuel. Good for 11 yards, and here we're looking at the Swiss Army knife, Barrett Jones, one of the best all-around weapons in college football. Well, they're going to find a way to get the ball in this guy's hands tonight. You're absolutely right. They put him in a lot of different positions. He's extremely explosive with the ball in his hands. Samuel was incredible last week against the Gators. Pass into coverage, and that one's almost picked off. Intended for Brian Edwards. He was shadowed by Kareem Orr, who's by far and away their top defensive back. There's Deebo Samuel, 43 catches on the year. You know, the numbers maybe not what people expected, but obviously he's drawing some extra attention this year. I think Deebo's just getting healthy, really, from what I've seen on film. Don't remember, he missed a whole year of football.
Edwards on the grab on second down or on the tackle after a gain of 7. Now, you brought up a good point in our meetings this morning that you don't just sit out a whole year of football and come back like it's nothing. It's really a gradual process.
I think people just assume that once you're healthy, you'll be back to who you are, but really, normally it takes at least a full year, if not more, to kind of become that guy you were. People don't realize you miss a whole year of weight training, a whole year of running, of route running, of kind of playing football. It's hard to get back into the groove, but I think Debo these last few weeks is back to being Debo.
Bentley on 3rd and 3, settles in the pocket and delivers a strike on target at the 45 in plus territory, a gain of 8 for a first down.
Yeah, I mentioned in the open, Mike broke down a lot of film of Jake Bentley this week, and I think kind of had a little bit of a rocky start to the season, maybe a low point after Kentucky where he threw a few interceptions. I've really seen him these last few weeks, though, kind of take what the defense gives him. He really is not trying to force the football in too small of windows, but really just kind of taking the opportunities that are available to him. He's been playing much better.
Troubling sight there is J.C. Horn is limping off the field on first down. The run by Mon Denson goes nowhere. Denson out of LaGrange, went to the same high school as former Gamecock quarterback Blake Mitchell. 3-yard pickup there. We mentioned J.C. Horn starting at safety tonight. See if we can get an update from Melissa later on in his status the rest of the way. On 2nd and 7, back to the ground game. Getting to the edge and outside is Denson. Good yardage before being shoved out of bounds by Brandon Dowdle. A pickup of 7.
This is where this South Carolina offense had a lot of success last week, is running the football on the edge. For whatever reason, those outside runs, the tosses, the sweeps, the outside zone plays, that's where they've really been successful.
Certainly want to get your thoughts on Gamecock offensive line as this game progresses. Merritt Jones, former All-American, offensive lineman in Alabama. And again, the run to the outside, and again, a big gaping hole for Mon Denson, one of 4 juniors that headline that backfield.
Yeah, great job right there by the offensive line. Look at that huge hole right there. I think Mike Morgan could even gain at least 5 yards from that hole. That is a gaping hole for college football right there. Nice job by Mon Denson. But again, this offensive line, I agree with you, Mike. They've gotten a lot better from this season from last season until now, especially that interior group.
Bentley, Cox fires and completes at the 21, and pushed out of bounds is Josh Vann. Vann is a freshman out of Tucker, Georgia. 4-star recruit they're high on. Somebody's going to have to pick up the slack next year for guys like Deebo Samuel and Josh Vann, Shi Smith. Those guys will be the future.
Well, you're exactly right. They're a little bit thin at receiver, so that's why you see Josh Vann, only a freshman, getting a lot of playing time.
A.J. Turner now in the game in the backfield. Rico Dowdle, by the way, slowed by an ankle injury. Coach Muschamp telling us he'd be a game-time decision. Don't know if we'll see much of him at all tonight. With time, end zone, touchdown! Right on target, and it's Turner out of the backfield. 16 yards and a score for Carolina.
What a fantastic job right there by Jake Bentley. Letting the play develop. It was A.J. Turner coming out of the backfield, running a really nice route, but an even better throw by Jake Bentley, hitting him right in stride for a touchdown. That's what we've seen out of Jake Bentley. He's been deadly accurate these past 3 weeks, and this offense has reaped the reward as they've been moving the football consistently these past few weeks.
Career touchdown pass number 43 as Parker White drills the extra point, and the Gamecocks have a 7-0 lead.
Yeah, look at Jake Bentley right here. Looking the safety off, turn his head. He knows exactly where he wants to go. Hits A.J. Turner in the corner of the end zone. Cox up 7-0, 9:53 to go in the first.
Gamecocks with a 7-0 lead. Jake Bentley completing 6 passes to 6 different receivers on that opening drive, and a great play designed on the touchdown pass.
Yeah, it was a tremendous play. It was a really nice play design. We'll take a look at it here after the kickoff. But a great opening drive by the Gamecocks. Again, get the blocked field goal, grab all the momentum back. Nice job by Javon Kinlaw and score a touchdown. And as you mentioned, Mike, let's take one more look here at this touchdown pass by Jake Bentley. A tremendous design by Brian McClendon, the offensive coordinator. This play is all about creating matchups right here. First they fake the outside zone to the right. Then Jake Bentley bootlegs out to the left. looks the safety off, and again, a great matchup with a linebacker, one-on-one with the scat back, A.J. Turner, in the corner of the end zone. A great play design, even better execution by Jake Bentley to put the Gamecocks up early. That was, I really like that, just because, you know, good offensive coordinators understand matchups. Anytime you're going to look at a skinny 195 running back and going up against a 240-pound linebacker, that's a winning matchup.
Fox on offense for the second time. Four-man rush. Swing pass out to the 20. That's going to be a loss on the play. Tyrell Price right into the arms of Rashad Fenton on the stop. UT Chattanooga, led by Tom Arth, the head coach, who was a unanimous All-American at Division III at John Carroll University. He started all 4 years there, worked his way up, actually made it to the pros. He was a backup to Peyton Manning for the Indianapolis Colts and bounced around from one semi-pro league to another before he got a desk job, just filling out those TPS reports. And then he finally wound up getting into coaching. Nowhere to run and nowhere to hide for Nick Tiano. He does surge forward for a couple, but you know, Tom Arthur told us, he said, I really love the business sector. He said, I had a good job. I was doing sales. I was doing anything they asked me. Then all of a sudden, I just realized I wanted to try coaching. Goes back to his alma mater as an assistant, then a head coach, that eventually gets the job at UT Chattanooga. And they believe they've got a good one in Tom Arth.
Well, there's a lot worse jobs to have than Peyton Manning's clipboard holder.
Yes, it is.
Right now, that's a good guy to hold the clipboard for. And anytime you're playing in the NFL as a backup quarterback wearing that non-contact jersey, I've always envied those guys.
3rd and 11. Gamecocks dial up a blitz, and the pass falls incomplete. Really no chance for Bryce Nunnally there anyway, as Nick Tiano had to hurry the throw.
Yeah, Nick Tiano had to hurry that throw a little bit. You see, he put it a little bit on his back shoulder, but a great route again by Bryce Nunnally. He's a gifted route runner. I think he's got a career in the NFL. There's a place for slot receivers like that who understand spacing and how to run routes. Bryce Nunnally is one of the best in the business in FCS football.
Of course, when you think of wide receivers coming out of Chattanooga, you think of one T.O., Terrell Owens, recently in the Hall of Fame. Well, he didn't show up to Canton. More on that later as Brian Edwards gets plowed immediately after he hauls in the catch on the punt. Gamecock offense when we come back from Columbia. Over there in Cockaboose number 21, he let us crash the party and enjoy those digs over there and had a little fun over there. But that is one of the most unique settings of any college football stadium. They do a tremendous job with those. And they deck them out big time. Call up some of those interior decorators, that's for sure. A.J. Turner, who scored the touchdown earlier, squeezes out a yard on first down. Cox coming in at 5-4, trying to become bowl eligible for the 3rd straight year. Will Muschamp trying to tie the record of Steve Spurrier for the most wins in his first 3 years as head coach of Carolina. I know the way it is, Barrett, you know the nature of the beast, although you didn't lose many games at Alabama. But anytime you lose one in the SEC, the sky is falling, everybody's down and everything. But you look at what Will Muschamp inherited and what he did and what they're doing already in recruiting, top 20 class right now, according to ESPN. Seems like the program is headed in the right direction.
Well, I totally agree, and I think that's, talking to Will Muschamp this week, he said the program is getting better every single year. And even though maybe right now the record doesn't reflect that, the caliber of player they have around here has certainly increased.
Gamecocks going Wildcat on 3rd and 3. It's Deebo Samuel. Beat you in so many ways. Receiving, passing, return. He actually covered a fumble on special teams last week against Florida. And he picks up the first down here.
Yeah, we talked about the fact they wanted to find a way to get the ball into Deebo Samuel's hands. The easiest way to get into his hands, Mike, is just snap it to him. Nice little wrinkle there. Pick up a first down. And I like the way this offense is moving earlier, even though looks like they're going to mark him just short.
Oh, wow. Not a very generous spot.
Not a generous spot.
Looks like from here he had it rather convincingly.
This
so
should be a snake here, Mike.
About an inch right behind.
Got about 2 inches.
Needed an inch, got 2, maybe 2.5. The chains will move, the Gamecock drive will continue. Going back to Will Muschamp, you know, we had an interesting talk with him earlier in the week, and he said we won 9 games last year. We're not going to win 9 this year, but even if we don't, he feels like this is a season of progress. The program is still better than it was a year ago. This team overall, minus the injuries, is better than it was a year ago. I think sometimes that's hard to remember after a painful loss, but I think it's worth noting.
And I agree with that sentiment. I think one of the things that is a big topic this year for Gamecock fans is they have lost a ton of guys to injury. And it just feels like certain years the injury bug bites you harder than normal, and this is one of those years.
It was a depleted defense, that is for sure. 2nd down and 8, that'll be a 1st down. That's Chavis Dawkins, the junior from Burns High School.
Jake Bentley here in a nice rhythm early, getting the ball out of his hands quickly, extremely precise and decisive with where he wants to go with the ball. Again, I've seen this confidence out of Jake Bentley the last few weeks. He's playing extremely well.
Quick pass, far side. And it's Dawkins again. He'll gobble up about 5.
Seems like almost every offense in the country now has these little quick passes attached. And anytime you see a pass like that, it's a run play in the huddle. The offensive line thinks it's a run play. Everyone except for Jake Bentley and that receiver think it's a run play, and Jake Bentley just likes his coverage out there. He'll toss it out there and let his receiver make a play.
Play action. Missiles one over the middle and it's incomplete. And there's a late penalty flag coming down.
It's going to be a legal lineman downfield, unfortunately. It was an RPO, a run pass option by Jake Bentley, and he held on to that one just a little bit too long.
Pass interference, defense number 2. Penalty will place the ball at the spot of the foul and includes an automatic 1st down.
Well, thank you, Ken, for making me look unintelligent. I appreciate that.
Oh, that Ken Williams.
I did think there was a lineman downfield, but they didn't see that. They saw the pass interference. And it looks like a pretty good call, hanging all over number 83, Chavis Dawkins right there. Good call.
So a 1st down. Another short pass, this time to Shi Smith. That'll go for 4 or 5 yards. Shi Smith, who actually played at Union County High School, and the coach at the time was one Steve Tannehill, former Gamecock quarterback.
Shi Smith, Brian McClendon told us he's the fastest of the receivers. You see right there, 16.2 yards per catch. That's a guy with some serious speed, a guy they would like to get more involved moving forward in this program.
2nd down. Look at that wiggle, breaking tackles, and down to the 6-yard line is A.J. Turner. Turner on a 13-yard gallop.
And this has been the game plan so far. It's just outside zone. Watch everybody on the line work to their left. A nice job by A.J. Turner reading this right here. But again, look at that big hole created by the offensive line. A.J. Turner running well. The line paving big holes for him.
Because I sat in your film session yesterday, I actually know what you mean when you say it's right. Outside zone block. Always an education at Barrett Jones. Bentley in trouble, just dumps it off, and it falls incomplete. Not sure even if Dabo Samuel could do anything with that.
That was a good decision there by Bentley. I think he knew he had a negative play. That was kind of the original RPO where you have a zone read and then a rollout. You can throw it to the receiver, but it just kind of all got messed up. And so I think Jake Bentley just decided to throw it to Debo's feet on purpose. Going to start afresh.
Snap a streak of 7 consecutive completions for the junior.
Sometimes an incompletion is not all bad, Mike. Occasionally got to bench one.
Better than a sack or a pick, right?
No doubt.
2nd down and goal. Bentley somehow gets out of trouble. Still surveys. Throws to an open target. Tiptoe catch. Touchdown, Turner.
Well, there's a lot to talk about here, Mike. Just first of all, let's talk about the awareness of Jake Bentley to feel the pressure, to roll out to his left, and look at A.J. Turner all the way over here camping out on the right side of your screen. Gets both feet in. That's just a fantastic individual effort. I don't think A.J. Turner was even supposed to be part of the route combination. That's just Jake Bentley making a football play.
How often you see a play like that where a guy on the opposite side is wide open, but the quarterback never sees him?
Right. Well, normally they tell you as a quarterback, don't throw across your body.
Right.
Don't do it, right? That's one of those things as a coach where you're like, no. Yes. I think when he's that wide open, though, you can make an exception because he could have thrown that one underhanded.
So A.J. Turner with 2 touchdown receptions in the game.
It looks like they're taking a quick look at it to make sure he had both of those feet in. I think that's good. I don't care what league, Arena League, NFL, SEC, even ACC. For Bill Palladino, our producer in the truck, that's a touchdown.
Oh, you're going to get him heated up in a hurry. Look out. 4:16 to go, first quarter. Jake Bentley picking up where he left off last. SEC Saturday night, Will Muschamp. And the Gamecocks up 14-0. It's been a trying week for Will Muschamp. Just trying to flush out some of the toxic residue whenever you lose a game the way they did against Florida. The old cliche, Barrett Jones, don't let the same team beat you twice. Don't have a hangover. And it seemed to be in high spirits. The players that we talked to, coordinators, all seem to be in pretty high spirits, but you could understand why they might not be. Let's take a look back. Again, at one point late third quarter, South Carolina led this game by 17 points, and then here's what happened from the 4:40 mark in the third quarter on. 269 total yards, most of them coming on the ground. Time of possession dominating, and of course that turnover, the last second effort by Jake Bentley, the interception. It is heartbreak hotel when you lose a game like that on the road, a game they seemingly had in hand. How do you bounce back from something like that?
Well, I think the only way to get that taste out of your mouth, honestly, is just to take the field again. So I'm sure this is a welcome sight for some of these players to finally get out here and just be playing football again.
Penalty flag.
Probably going to be a false start.
False start on the offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty.
I had my confidence shaken after the first missed penalty.
One thing Will Muschamp was quick to bring up to us is that in one-score games, they're 13-5 under his direction. Every game they've lost this year has been to a ranked team, and most of them have been to teams that, quite frankly, were just ahead of the schedule, like the Georgia Bulldogs, for example. But they've been good in one-score games for the most part. He's still very optimistic about what they can do by year's end this season. It's Trotter, backup tailback, scampering for 3.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the Gamecocks actually had one of the toughest schedules in the nation this year as far as ranked teams. Actually, the 7th hardest if you go by strength of record who they're playing. It's been tough sledding, and obviously still Clemson looming the number 2 team in the country next week. So it does not get much easier.
I'll say one thing. I mean, that's part of being in the SEC. You and I were in Tennessee 2 weeks ago. What was the first thing the coaching staff told us? We are still heartbroken that we lost that South Carolina game because they had that circled at the beginning of the year. They could have won that game. They didn't. Missouri, that was a tough loss for them. I had Missouri earlier in the year. They were still kind of down in the dumps about the fact they didn't pull off that game here at Williams-Brice Stadium. You're going to lose a close game or two. You're going to lose a game that you think you had in hand.
Well, there's no doubt, and I think just big picture, the East has gotten a lot better too. That's one thing. I mean, there's a lot of quality football teams in the East this year. The East, a lot of people coming into this year thought they were going to kind of be a pushover, but in a lot of ways, they might even be deeper than the West. I think the West is probably a little more top-heavy, but there's some really quality football teams in this Eastern Division. And you see Bryce Nunley over there on the sideline. That's not a welcome sight for Mog fans.
3rd down to the yard. A good surge by the offensive line. That's not a good sight for the Gamecock defense. Which at some point, if they're going to beat some better teams left on the schedule, a la next week against Clemson, they're going to have to do a better job of stopping the run.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It's been a big-time struggle for them. It's been stopping the run. One of the second worst team in the whole SEC stopping the run. And we talked about their young secondary. I think part of that is the fact that they're having to play a lot of too high safety looks, not drop as many guys down into the box. And when you do that, you sometimes expose your players up front.
First down. Going deep down the sideline. Leaping effort.
Oh, what a catch.
Did he reel that in? What a sensational grab by Will Young.
What a catch right there by Will Young. And you know, all the talk this week was about Bryce Nunley. The coaching staff was quick to point out, don't forget about Will Young. And look at that catch radius right there. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Will Young, a guy who is 6'3", but he had about 8.5-foot arms right there sticking. That was some go-go gadget arms there, Mike Morgan, sticking those paws out there, reeling that one in.
I don't know if you could defend that much better if you're Keyshawn Nixon. He's right there. He's got his hand on the ball. Somehow it's held on to for a 33-yard gain. With time. Pass is a little off target. Intended for Will Young. Again, Bryce Nunley out right now. Will Young becomes their top target.
I think the game plan for the Mocs early is pretty obvious. They're trying to spread these Gamecocks out in this young secondary and throw the football around the yard, and they've had a little bit of success so far creating 2 explosive plays. Let's see if the Gamecocks can harden here and get a stop.
Tyrell Price in the backfield for the Mocs on 2nd down and 10. What's coming? Still plenty of time. Pass is deflected and then almost caught off the deflection at the 25. The tight end Jordan Gabberty, who almost reels this one in.
Almost caught that ball off the deflection right there. Nice job staying in the pocket. That was certainly not the intended receiver. Will Young looked like he was the intended receiver, but tight end Gabberty almost got a freebie there. But a nice job by those big guys up front. Looked like maybe Javon Kinlaw again getting those big bear paws up there and knocking it down. Second batted ball for him of the day. Obviously the blocked field goal being the first.
On 3rd and 10. They'll go conservative, run straight up the middle and weaving his way through traffic. So quarterback Tiano, good run, but still going to be short.
Yeah, decision here, time here for Tom Ars. I don't think it's much of a decision. I think you're playing South Carolina. You got nothing to lose. You got 4th and 2 on the 24-yard line. You're keeping the offense on the field. I expect to see some kind of quick route combination. I think I just saw Bryce Nunnally come back into the game. So watch for them to look for him in the slot right here on some kind of short, maybe rub route.
Mocs 7 of 16 on 4th down this year. 4th down, a long yard. With time, throws it low. And a late penalty flag. That was thrown all the way from the end zone. Nunnally thought he was interfered with.
Yeah, I guess they're going to get pass interference here. Looked like it was well covered, but maybe too well covered.
Pass interference, defense number 16. Penalty will place the ball.
That's on Rashad Fenton, the senior, by way of Miami, Florida.
Yeah, I mean, it was a one-on-one matchup with Nunnally, as we expected. In the slot, as you see Nunnally right here, excuse me. Watch this route right here. He's defended by Rashad Fenton. Ooh, that's good defense to me, Mike Morgan. That's good SEC defense. I don't see any grab or tug of the jersey there. Maybe a little redirection, but it's early enough where I have no issue with that.
We'll get the first down, under a minute to go, first quarter. Tiano, handoff, and is jammed up. Trying to run behind the left side of that line was Tyrell Price, but Kobe Smith was there to meet him.
Yeah, I think the strength of this Gamecocks run defense has been these interior guys. They've done a really nice job. Look like, again, big Javon Kinlaw and Kobe Smith getting in there, making a play. Javon Kinlaw, again, we already called his name a few times tonight. A guy who they have very high hopes for. Obviously, he's a junior, but again, came in here extremely overweight. They were raving about the way he came in here, worked hard to lose weight. He has become a much more dynamic playmaker at that defensive tackle position.
Kinlaw and a healthy DJ Wanham stand out on tape. DJ Wanham battling that high ankle sprain. Pass toward the corner. Incomplete corner route for Will Young toward the sideline. That one a little bit high. So a 3rd and long coming up.
One interesting note I've seen so far, and we got kind of a tip from the defensive staff of South Carolina, this might happen, but they're so thin in the secondary that even against these 3 wide receiver sets, what I'm seeing from the South Carolina defense is they're actually keeping 3 linebackers on the field. Now that tells me they are extremely thin at secondary, because most teams would go to what's called a nickel package where you bring an extra defensive back on. South Carolina actually electing to just keep their linebackers on the field because they trust those guys more than those young safeties and nickel corners.
A lot of bodies moving pre-snap, and they wind up going to draw play anyway. Price picks up 3. TJ Brunson on the stop for the Gamecocks, and that'll bring us to the end of quarter number 1. All Carolina through the first 15 minutes. Gamecocks on senior day. Jake Bentley with not 1, but 2 touchdown passes to A.J. Turner. Contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, All-State. With Alyssa Lang and Barrett Jones, Mike Morgan here in Columbia. The Gamecocks out to a 14-0 lead. And the Mocs of UT Chattanooga ready to line up a field goal here momentarily. Defense stiffened up when they needed to. It'll be Victor Olmo attempting a 36-yarder. hold are good, and so too is the kick right down Broadway, and the Mocs are on the board. We saw J.C. Horn hobbling off the field earlier. For an update on that, let's check in with Alyssa.
Yeah, guys, just a few minutes ago, J.C. Horn came back out of the locker room onto the sidelines. He was kind of walking around gingerly. That left ankle seemed to be bothering him from what I could tell. I haven't gotten any information yet from the South Carolina staff, still working on that. But he did just walk over to the bench moments ago. He got a bag of ice taped around that left ankle, and he's been sitting on the bench with his helmet in his hands. Still full pads on, so not sure if he's going to enter the game, but right now not looking great, as I said, with a bag of ice taped around that ankle. His teammates, coaches coming over and giving him a little pat on the helmet as well.
Alyssa, thank you much. And obviously for J.C. Horn, it's a young man who's already made a lot of noise, Barrett, as an 18-year-old freshman. Going to have a chance to be on a whole lot of all-SEC freshman lists as a corner. Right. He got his first start as a safety tonight.
Yeah, and certainly never speculate, but generally, Mike, when you have ice on anything, that's not a good sign as far as coming back in. But I will say it's definitely not good for the secondary. We talked about how shorthanded they already are. J.C. Horn, a guy who's been playing nickel all season, actually got the start at safety tonight. That's how shorthanded they were, and that's probably why we've seen them keeping that third linebacker on the field. They might not have a whole lot more than 4 guys in the secondary who are really healthy. So, again, that's probably why we're seeing so many passes out of these Mocs, because they recognize that many linebackers on the field.
That is not a shank. That is a tribute of respect for Deebo Samuel, who is the all-time kickoff touchdown return leader in SEC history. Kyle Markaway, one of the tight ends on the roster for the Gamecocks, hauling that in, but pretty wise decision to not kick it off to Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, Deebo's seen a lot of that this year. There's a lot of teams who are not willing to kick to that guy. And again, I'm telling you on the film, just these last few weeks, I've started to see that same explosiveness we saw last season and 2 years ago that make Deebo Samuel so dangerous.
Bentley rolling out, going deep downfield. There's a big-time hold. That's going to be a flag, and then maybe 2, maybe 3. He held him for about 10 yards down the field. C.J. Fritz grabbed every piece of Deebo's jersey that he possibly could.
Yeah, 10 is generous. Maybe more like 30 yards that he just yanked Deebo Samuel, which, hey, it might have been a good decision because if he hadn't grabbed that jersey, Deebo Samuel might be celebrating the end zone.
Defense number 6. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Of course, that's the difference between the college and the pro game. Pro game, it's a spot foul. And a college game, the most you're going to get penalized is 15 yards, better than a touchdown.
And don't think those guys don't know that, right? I mean, they're very aware of the rule differences, and so they're encouraged. Hey, if you're beat for a touchdown, absolutely tackle the guy, because we can take a 15-yard penalty. What you can't undo is a touchdown.
We asked Will Muschamp something about Deebo Samuel that maybe most people don't know. He said the work ethic. It's unbelievable. It doesn't happen on accident how good he is. Deep ball this time down the right side. And this time it is caught. Caught by Brian Edwards.
Another fantastic throw by Jake Bentley. Looks like now they're going to call it incomplete, but I think they're going to take a look at this one, Mike Morgan, unless he maintains control of that ball. But it looked to me like he got 1 foot down. And I'm sure Will Muschamp right now is.
It looked like the right foot was down.
Yep.
Whether or not he was bobbling at the time, that would be the issue.
And you hear the fans reacting to it on the video board. I think they're going to take a look at this one. A fantastic back shoulder throw right there by Jake Bentley, and a nice adjustment by Brian Edwards. It looks like Will Muschamp will challenge this.
The previous play is under review. After further review, the pass was complete and caught at the 17-yard line. First and 10, South Carolina, ball beyond the right hash.
So kind of as we expected, Barrett, this will hold up as it will be overturned, I should say, as a catch.
Yeah, you see the right foot's down. The only question is, does he maintain control? And I see no evidence of that ball coming loose. A great job by Brian Edwards of retaining possession. Good call.
Goes as a 36-yard gain for Brian Edwards, who is now over 2,000 career receiving yards, the 10th player in Gamecock history to achieve that goal. When you think about it, there have been some pretty good wideouts that have come through Columbia, starting with Sterling Sharp, Alshon Jeffrey, Robert Brooks, just to name a few.
Yeah, it looks like Mon Denson here down on the turf. This is not a position, again, that they can afford to lose anybody else. Already have Rico Dowdle, Ailing, Tyson Williams broke a bone in his hand. They're very thin at running back. We've seen A.J. Turner a lot tonight, kind of as that in that scat back role and running a lot between the tackles. But again, Mon Denson, kind of a big banger type back, and again a very thin position for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, they are running out of guys. I mean, they started off, this was a position of strength. There's not a whole lot of teams that have 4 veteran and more than capable backs, but you could go easily from 4 down to 1 if this continues.
And again, we're not sure if we'll see Rico Dowdle tonight. We know he has an ankle injury. Only got 2 carries last week against Florida. I don't think we've seen him yet tonight. So we take another look here, try and see if we can see what happened to Mon Denson. Watch that ankle. Ooh, that's very painful. I've had a few of those before. Ankle sprains. You just hope it's not a high ankle sprain. Those are nasty injuries.
Turner, the only back left, is in the game. Pass is a little bit low, somehow scooped up by Van, the true freshman, with his second catch of the game. Brandon Dowdle shoves him out of bounds.
Yeah, again, nice play design right there. That was another one that Jake Bentley had the freedom to read. They're really giving him a lot of freedom in this offense to make determinations.
Turner's monster day continues, his 3rd touchdown.
A.J. Turner having himself a day here tonight. As let's take another look to make sure he got in the end zone before that knee hit. And see the knees down there. Hard to tell if he's broken the plane yet. Not sure if we have a better angle, but again, a really nice run by Turner to get through. I think, to me, from that angle, it looks like the ball has crossed the plane once his knee hits the ground.
Turner, 2 touchdown receptions, and if this one holds up, another touchdown on the ground.
Nobody told A.J. Turner he was a scat back tonight.
He only had 2 touchdowns all year. He's already got 3 in the first half.
I saw a lot of fans last week after his big game against Florida say, that they had forgotten A.J. Turner was on the team, and now he's reemerging as the lead back here. An excellent night for him. Obviously, 3 touchdowns and a little over a quarter of work. That's a pretty good night there, Mike Morgan.
When you see this Gamecock offense clicking, you remember why so many people were high on this team this year, because they figure you got your starting quarterback back, you got Deebo Samuel back from injury, you got all your top running backs back for the most part, and a veteran offensive line. I mean, that's a good combination to have on offense.
It is, and Brian McClendon, the offensive coordinator, has had these guys clicking the last few weeks. You're right about that.
Parker White, who's been nearly automatic this year, drills another extra point.
As we take another look here at A.J. Turner, his 3rd touchdown of the night. Running between the tackles, he caught 2, and now he's run 1 in. A.J. Turner, 3-0.
100 relay team, eventually a 3rd-round draft pick. The San Francisco 49ers, one of the more distinguished alums. He, of course, and Dennis Haskins, a.k.a. Mr. Belding of Saved by the Bell. I know you're more of a Mario Lopez guy yourself, Barrett, but trust me when I tell you Dennis Haskins could act. And he played a little ball, played some basketball at Chattanooga, which I did not know. Could you imagine how humiliating that is if you got to tell your friends you got dunked on by Belding?
That's right. Well, I get to see Mario Lopez down there in the corner every time I'm in a hotel room. He's telling me which movies are hot.
Yes, he is.
Says,
when he's not doing arm curls.
That's right. He's still looking pretty swole. So it was a good show. Good show.
Dustin Diamond. Different results in his career path.
That's right.
First down for the Mocs. Another pass incomplete. Tiano really feeling the pressure. And there is Dennis Haskins. And again, he finally picked up his degree. He's doing a lot of stuff over there on campus in Chattanooga, but he's a Chattanooga native. And of course, most famous for his role as Mr. Belding, the lovable, and yet sometimes not exactly in control of the discipline over there at the
I didn't know you could be a principal
school
without a degree, Mike Morgan.
Yeah, we just thought about that. We did the math on that. He didn't actually have his degree from UT Chattanooga when he was operating as principal. Now I think he's more qualified to be the principal. Good defense there. That is Nixon again.
Yeah, we talked about how they're a little short-staffed in the secondary and got guys playing out of position, but a fantastic play right here by Nixon. coming there. Perfect technique, perfect timing, going right for the ball, and a great job swatting that ball out and preventing a completion.
Nick Tiano right now looking a little bit rattled. 5 straight incompletions. Penalty flag here.
32 came into the field of play and then left.
An illegal substitution on the Mocs. And things are going downhill offensively for the Mocs in a hurry.
Yeah, so just an update on kind of the situation in the secondary. It looks like based on that play, they've moved their corner, Keyshawn Nixon, to safety, right? So you know they're short-staffed when you're having to move guys around. And again, that was Keyshawn Nixon showing off his ball skills right there, but very short-handed in the secondary for these Gamecocks.
Another 3rd and long. This will be 3rd and 15. Gamecocks rush 4. Tiano again hit as he throws. Not a bad effort, but incomplete.
We talked about how good of a player Bryce Nunnally was. That's one he's certainly going to want to have back there, because that was a really nice throw by Nick Tiano. Bryce Nunnally can't make the play for him. And again, talk to the coaching staff. This is their guy. He's extremely sure-handed, a great route runner, and a great kid. So I'm sure he doesn't drop many passes. He'll be kicking himself for that one in film on Sunday.
Tiano took a hit from Shamik Blackshear right as he threw it and still put that ball on the money. Brewer on the punt. Edwards ready to receive from the 37. Edwards racing past midfield and finally dragged down at the 44-yard line as we say hello to Alyssa Lang.
Guys, we just heard a pretty big roar from the fans here in Williams-Brice Stadium, and someone who's very accustomed to making Gamecock fans cheer very loudly is Mr. Jackie Bradley Jr., who is here on the sidelines tonight. You've had a pretty eventful last couple of months. Take me through just what you've been up to.
Just working a little bit and happen to make a pretty good postseason run with the Red Sox. And, we had a really good team. It was a lot of fun being a part of, and I was excited we were able to pull it off.
So for those at home who don't know, you just won a World Series with the Boston Red Sox. You also won a couple of College World Series here in Columbia. What's the comparison like to hoisting those 2 trophies?
Honestly, I don't like to compare them just because both of them are World Series, wins. If I wouldn't have played in the professional, then the College World Series would have been the highlight probably of my baseball career. And obviously, I got the opportunity to play pro ball, and World Series is the pinnacle. Everybody always wants to play the highest level and compete at the highest level, but to actually win the World Series at the highest level is pretty amazing. You
won a Golden Glove. You were the MVP of the ALCS. I mean, what was that like? Is it still kind of sunken in yet? I mean, have you slept since it was over?
Yeah, I've slept. I sleep real good.
As the action came right to us?
Yeah, that's right. I sleep real good, but it's one of those things where I think I'll look back on it at the end of my career. I think it's sunk in, but I don't think I truly appreciate it quite yet. And because I feel like I have hopefully a lot more left in the tank.
Hopefully. Congratulations on all your success. And this man has taken about 100,000 photos during his last 24 hours here in Columbia. Jackie Bradley, thank you.
Thanks, Alyssa.
Alyssa Lang, great stuff. He's going to be cashing $100,000 checks on a weekly basis when the contract comes through after another great year. ALCS MVP. He's just collecting rings now. 2 national championships here at Carolina and 1 with the Red Sox, one of the best defensive players in all of Major League Baseball. Bentley running for his life and finally goes down back past the 30. And I'll just add this as someone who called a number of Jackie's games as a freshman back in 2009. You won't find a better young man in addition to the incredible talent that he has on the baseball diamond. So razzle-dazzle plays going on during that interview there.
Yeah, there sure were. Nice play there by Jarrell Lawson. Kind of missed Jake Bentley the first time, got up off the ground and got a sack to force the Gamecocks into a long 3rd down here.
17, blitz coming, and a penalty flag will stop the play short.
About to get longer, Mike Morgan. Got a good field goal kicker in Parker White, but I'm sure he would not appreciate these penalty yards here as they're keep moving in the wrong direction.
False start, offense, and all 11 players were set for a full second. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
So 3rd down and the vista for the Gamecocks.
Oh. You don't have a whole lot of plays in the playbook here for 3rd down and 22. At this point, you're at the 35-yard line, so you want to try to pick up maybe 10 or 15 yards to get yourself into a little bit.
Coaches told us what Parker White could be good from about 52.
Right.
That's about
just because he could
be
good for 52
doesn't mean he's going to hit it.
Doesn't mean you necessarily want him to have 52-yarder. So
very true.
I'd like to get this kind of in the mid-40s. The screen.
This is A.J. Turner again. Turner having a memorable first half, and if nothing else, that gets Parker White in much better field goal range. Gerald Lawson on the stop.
Just what the doctor ordered right there, Mike. I told you about 10 or 15 yards. Get Parker White set up. And you mentioned it, Parker White hasn't actually missed a field goal all season. He has 13 for 14. He had 1 blocked. So, I mean, it depends on what you count. I guess it's technically a miss.
Statistically a miss, but in terms of actually missing a clean kick, he has not missed one this year. And that was after a shaky freshman campaign in which he was 14 of 25. This kick on the way. And no good. So the Barrett Jones jinx in full effect.
We talked to his dad before the game, Mike Morgan. I hate that. Missed by Parker White, his first true miss of the whole season. Gamecocks still up, though, early in this one.
Daria appreciated. That is of note because Vanderbilt's still fighting for their bowl game lives. In fact, they've got Tennessee next week. That could be the game for the Tennessee Volunteers if Jeremy Pruitt and company are going to become bowl eligible. And for teams like that, particularly Tennessee, trying to get back on the rise, a bowl game, as Jeremy told us a couple of weeks ago, would be huge for that program.
Well, there's no doubt. There's still a few teams right now, like you mentioned, fighting for that bowl eligibility, and South Carolina here tonight is one of them. Looking good early.
Second down and 2, and a gaping hole behind the right side of that line, and into plus territory.
I was just about to say that South Carolina had done a good job tonight keeping the Mocs bottled up in the run game, but see, this has been the Achilles heel all year for the Gamecocks. These big gash run plays, big holes there. So you gotta have gap discipline. You gotta stay in your gap. One guy gets out of their gap. That's how you get a big play created in the run game. As we got a Gamecock down here on the field.
Tyrell Price, the leading ground gainer for the Mocs. Trying to see who the injured player down on the field is for Carolina.
Looks like it might be freshman Rick Sandage, reserve defensive tackle for him.
Coaching staff told us they'd like to get a number of the freshmen in this ball game, and again, for the Gamecock defense, and welcome you inside the booth alongside the All-American, 3-time national champion Barrett Jones, Mike Morgan here. And Barrett, I think we were all kind of curious just how this Gamecock team come out. A devastating loss last week in a game that they led by 17 points late. So far, so good, particularly running the football and particularly with A.J. Turner.
Yeah, we talked about it. Really, the only way to get that taste out of your mouth sometimes is to get on the field and play another game. I think the offense tonight thus far has been extremely sharp against a pretty good Mocs defense, right? They're one of the top defenses in SoCon. Jake Bentley been extremely sharp tonight. 14 for 16, 133 yards and 2 touchdowns. But you're right, A.J. Turner, already 3 touchdowns in the game, 2 receiving and 1 on the ground. He's kind of stolen the show tonight for the Gamecocks.
There's that Gamecock defense still very much under fire and trying to see how they're performing. Go-to wide receiver for the Mocs makes another grab, 11 yards and a first down. He's a good-looking player, isn't he?
I've been extremely impressed with Bryce Dunn the other night. There's just certain guys that when you see him in person, if you're a football guy and you've watched a lot of film, you understand that they have a great feel for route running. And I can see that in Bryce Nunnally. He just has a tremendous feel for how to get open. And he might not be the fastest guy. I have no idea what his 40 time is. I'm just going to tell you, this guy knows how to run routes and understands how to get open. And there's a place for those guys in the National Football League.
On play action. Miano goes underneath. Breaking tackles, surging ahead is Tyrell Price with a nice play. Bryce Nunnally, 7.4 receptions per game at 7th best in the FCS level. So many times, Barrett, as you know, pro scouts, it's great if you play at a big school, but if you're really good, they're going to find you no matter where you are.
Oh, there's no doubt. And there's kind of been sort of a resurgence of these slot receivers, sometimes coming from small schools. Take Adam Thielen, for example. The guy's had a tremendous last few years, came from, I think, Minnesota State or something, and now having obviously one of the best receivers in the National Football League.
Second and short. And a run inside for a first down by Trotter. Alyssa, what do you have?
Yeah, guys, more on Bryce Nunnally. It was interesting talking to Chattanooga head coach Tom Arth and offensive coordinator Justin Riscotti. They were praising more than just his performance on the football field. He's an engineering major. Apparently, he's one of the stars academically on the team. But Justin Riscotti saying he also is the kind of guy that he wants his kids to grow up and be like. So certainly a glowing review from his offensive coordinator.
Yeah, they were raving about him. I'll tell you who else was raving about him was the defensive coaches for the Gamecocks. They knew the number 19 in white was going to be a force tonight. A lot of these smaller schools had that one guy, that one difference maker. You know, Cooper Kupp's another guy, went to a small school in college and now is starring in the NFL. He went to Eastern Washington if you're scoring at home. You just never know where the talent is going to be, and they believe they've got an NFL talent in Bryce Nunnally at Chattanooga.
Julian Edelman didn't even play much football. He played quarterback, right?
He was I actually called one of his games in the MAC, and he was a starting quarterback at his size, which was phenomenal when you think about it. All of a sudden, he turned into a Pro Bowl wide receiver. Tiano on 2nd and 9. Missiles one complete, and tiptoeing out of bounds is Joseph Parker.
Let's take a look here at some of the plays from Nunnally. Usually the first play of the game offensively for the Mocs, a little out and up action from Bryce Nunnally. Again, just has a great feel for getting open, understand how to route run. Got that safety all kind of confused right there on that route. And just a guy who finds the ball. That's the reason he has over 1,000 yards receiving already in this season with still a few games to go.
Good chance he'll be the primary target here on 3rd down and 6. Tiano under hot pursuit, and he's sacked from behind. Keir Thomas, the junior from Miami.
Yeah, a fantastic job by South Carolina. You call this one the cross dog stunt right here, where the two linebackers go across the formation. You see the other guy looping around, but it's big number 5, Keir Thomas, that gets in from the edge. A nice job by South Carolina bringing pressure. Travaris Robinson's had to bring pressure all season to get pressure on the quarterback, and when you bring pressure, you got to bring him down because you don't have many guys covering on the back end.
Hey, you're out of field goal range. Punt doesn't do you a ton of good, and again, you're Chattanooga. You're playing with house money. Why not? 4th and 16. Oh, a pooch bunt.
A pooch.
Well, that'll work. We'll down it inside the 10. Timeout here in Columbia. Gamecocks on top, 21-3. More Jake Bentley and company when we come back.
Oh man, Dari and I used to do a college football daily segment my senior year every Monday. It was a lot of fun, Dari.
Was it award-winning? That's what I heard.
It was award-winning.
Bentley hands it off. Probing the right side, thrusting ahead is A.J. Turner. He's having a career half of football. We've still got plenty of time to go. 14 yards on that scamper.
I'd say my best college football daily story, in case Dari's still listening. One time I was battling like flu-like symptoms. Still did it from my bed. Had to make it. Had to be there for Dari. Couldn't let him down.
That is the book on Barrett Jones.
That's right.
Not going to miss any broadcast commitment.
That was my MJ flu game.
Yeah. That was your.
I thought it was my best segment. We normally did Skype, but that time I said, let's just do a phoner.
It does live in the annals of broadcasting history. Courage, valor, words synonymous with one Barrett Jones. Effective, the word of the day for A.J. Turner. Maybe dominating would be another one. 7 more yards for Turner. The book on Turner now. 64 yards rushing, not to mention 2 touchdowns receiving for another 34 yards.
Looks like he might have just got stopped short, though, on that 3rd down. The Mocs brought pressure there off the edge. South Carolina didn't pick it up.
All right, now you're an offensive lineman. You want to go right here, right? A yard?
Of course you want to go, but I mean, you're in your own territory. You're up 21-3. This is a punt all day.
Did you ever pressure Nick Saban into changing your mind?
Oh, man, look at Turner now. I definitely pressured him a lot, but Turner now is limping. And if Turner goes down, I don't know who else is going to go in. You look at the depth chart, perhaps.
Slade Carroll.
Yeah, Slade Carroll.
Number 5 running back.
The redshirt freshman.
Fair catch from the 16. And I understand Alyssa Lang has an update of the son of one Will Muschamp, who's got a big game going on, Alyssa.
Yeah, guys, just about 15-20 minutes from here at Williams-Brice Stadium, there's a school called the Hammond School, and they are currently playing for a SCISA state championship. That's the South Carolina Independent School Association. The quarterback of that Hammond team is Will Muschamp's son, Jackson Muschamp. So, of course, Coach Muschamp wasn't super thrilled about having a Gamecock game to coach while his son is playing at the same time, but he said, hey, we've got business to get done. Similarly to how the Gamecocks came out to a fast start, so did Jackson, airing out a 72-yard touchdown pass to get it going for his Hammond team. They're currently up 26-0 right now at halftime, so we might have to update Coach here going into the break.
He'll probably tell you he's not keeping up, but something tells me somebody on that sideline gave him an update or two. Jackson Muschamp, who was a defensive back and a darn good one. They converted him into a quarterback this year, and he's torn it up and could be a state champion by night's end. By the way, the head coach of that team is one Eric Kimry, and for those around here, they remember Eric Kimry, a backup quarterback that had one of the best moments of the 21st century, the fade to beat Mississippi State on this field back in 2000. And doing a great job as the head coach over there at Hammond.
Yeah, fumble on the snap there, but looks like Tiano jumped on it. But if I know Will Muschamp, you know, he's got somebody, some intern,
right,
analyst, somebody you can trust, right, who's kind of whispering the scores in his ear. He will never admit that. But, I mean, your son's playing a state championship game. He was, I think, hoping for the early game, but he did not get it, unfortunately. They're playing, kicked off at exactly the same time. Will Muschamp actually had the exact same scenario last year. Mike Morgan and I were here, game against Wofford. His son was playing the state championship. That time he got to make the game because the game was earlier. This time, not so much.
Well, Muschamp hoping his defense comes up salty here on 3rd and 4, and the Mocs want to talk about it. Timeout, Chattanooga. You can stream college football all season long on ESPN Plus. Start your free trial today by downloading the ESPN app or visiting ESPNplus.com. With Alyssa Lang, former Alabama offensive lineman Barrett Jones. I'm Mike Morgan. Great to be with you here on a Saturday night special here in Columbia. The Gamecocks looking to become bowl eligible for the 3rd consecutive year. Trying to finish off. Remember, they got 2 games after this, not just the Clemson game. But they missed out on the Marshall game, so they've got Akron coming up a week after next Saturday. Some other headlines. Alabama continues to roll. Yes, it was tied at the half. Barrett Jones was very nervous, but still the Tide somehow pulled through against another team from the Palmetto State. Nick Fitzgerald really coming on here of late. His final home game in Starkville, and Josh Allen going to be a 1st-round draft pick out of Kentucky. Part of the great season that Mark Stoops and company have had in Lexington. On 3rd and 4. Over the middle, in and out of the hands of the intended target. It was Keyshawn Nixon jarring it loose.
Yeah, Keyshawn Nixon has had a really, really nice game tonight. See that the Gamecocks get some pressure there on Tiano, but look at Nixon. Just perfect textbook. Coming in with that right hand, swatting that ball away. But again, probably the reason he's got Thomas, right, Keir Thomas right up there in his grill, and that's a shot, let me just tell you, talking to quarterbacks, extremely painful when you have your ribs exposed like that. You can't take too many shots like that in football.
Brewer on to punt. Edwards angling back. And will return it from the 35. Now going backwards, and he's going to lose yardage down at the 30-yard line. Let's take a look at the Holiday Inn Express Be the Readiest. The readiest this week brought to you by Holiday Inn. What do we have?
Yeah, it looks like a nice pass right here. A.J. Turner's our man today. He's obviously scored 3 touchdowns so far, 2 through the air and 1 on the ground. He was ready to play tonight. He had to be ready with Mon Denson going down early in this football game, and A.J. Turner stepped up to the plate with 3 touchdowns and a little bit over 16 minutes of action. get this team on top.
Dari Barrett, a good sight there. Mondenson back in the game now in the backfield. And we'll get the carry here. Off the right side and strung out for about a 1-yard gain, but good pursuit there by the left side of that Mocs defensive line.
Yeah, again, we did see A.J. Turner limp off the field after that last drive, so we just hope that Mondenson's good to go now.
2nd and long. Bentley over the middle, and that'll be first down yardage. Wrestled down after the reception. That is Keel Pollard, tight end. Remember, they lost Hayden Hurst to the NFL. He was a standout. They've been working to Crosby, August, Markway, Pollard. Fans have been saying, we got to throw to the tight end more. They had a couple of passes for touchdowns last week to tight ends. That's always a solution.
Always a solution. Throw to the tight ends more.
5 in the pattern on first down. Bentley, all kinds of time in the pocket. Missiles one complete. And this will be good for a first down, and then some yak yards after catch for Brian Edwards.
And Jake Bentley right now just looks totally in control of this offense. You saw right there, went through, looked like at least 4 of his reads. His offensive line doing a nice job giving him protection against the 3-man rush. But he's just taking his time back there and picking this defense apart.
Bentley will throw it away. His pocket was collapsing, nobody open there. One thing we have not mentioned so far today, Barrett, and that is a good sign for this Gamecock offense and Brian McClendon, who we talked to about the situation. That is the drops they've had all year. They've had a major case of drop passes, and it really was plaguing this offense early on this season. None so far. There you look at Brian McClendon, offensive coordinator, replacing Kirk Roper from a year ago, and calling some great games here of late. Bentley completes to Deebo Samuel at the 25. Now, McClendon's a great story. He's the son of former Georgia Bulldog Willie McClendon, and after pro football ended for Brian, Mark Richt told him, hey, you need to get into coaching. He said, I'm not really sure if I want to do that. He started off with the running backs coach, which is not really his position, a wide receiver coach, and eventually worked his way up, and now he's here in Columbia. Deebo Samuel snapping ankles and racing down the sideline. He stepped out of bounds at about the 2. Marshall Cooper saved a touchdown for the Mocs.
What a move right there by Deebo Samuel. Looked like they had him wrapped up for 3 or 4 yards, but Deebo turned it into a big explosive play. Let's see if he was able to stay in bounds. Now that right foot firmly in the garnet chalk.
That's over the chalk. A touchdown. Josh Vann, the freshman.
Jake Bentley, just a textbook drive right there on what a 2-minute drill should look like. A fantastic accuracy and time in the pocket. Knew he wanted to go with the football clicky right there, just flips it out to his young, talented receiver. He just sneaks inside that pylon for Jake Bentley's 3rd touchdown toss of the night. Probably his best drive of the night right there, just sitting back there, and a good job by that offensive line, giving him time continuously. That defensive line looks like they got tired there on that drive. The way that
on the field was a touchdown. The previous play is under review.
So we're going to take a look at this, but look to us, Mike Morgan, like that ball definitely snuck in that pylon before he was down.
And that certainly did. By the way, you mentioned offensive line. I know you like a couple of guys in that line, including Zach Bailey, the left guard.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Zach Bailey. He was preseason All-SEC. Really like his game. I think he's be a good player at the next levels. Let's just make sure here that, that knee is down. Hard to tell, though, again, where is the football?
Right.
And that knee is down. See if we have another angle of it. But
of course, the key word here is indisputable. Do you have indisputable video evidence that the ball's not over the plane when the knee hits?
You know, I actually think if I had to take my guess, that ball might be a little bit short based on that first angle. But again, I'm not sure if they're going to have indisputable evidence to overturn it. Let's see, the knee's down right there, but again, you just can't really tell where the football is.
Good luck on that. I see 4 bodies, but it's such a tough call to make. Because
and look, the ref's standing right. Look at this. Look at this guy. He's sitting right there looking at it. So I think unless it's very obvious, I'm going to trust the Zebras on this one.
I mean, you can have 100 cameras, and when you have all those bodies piling up near the goal line on plays like that, it's so hard to see where exactly the ball is when the knee hits.
Yeah, goal line plays are always always the toughest to discern just because there are so many bodies down there. You think about packing 22 guys into a little small area. Gonna evidently be some bodies hanging around. I think this will stand, is my guess. Even though I see the offense come back on the field here, I believe. Is that what you see there? Is that the offense come back on the field? I believe I see Jake Bentley in the offense.
That's what I see. Still waiting on the official call.
Maybe they had a secret replay we didn't have. I certainly didn't see any indisputable evidence, but
it looks like they're going to run another play.
Sure does.
So it'll be 3rd down and goal.
Keep in mind the situation, like you said, 3rd down and goal, 38 seconds remaining. However, they do have plenty of timeouts, so time not really an issue here. If they do call him short, I can't imagine him being much outside the half-yard line. It looked like he was right there by the goal line.
They're going to spot it inside the 1.
Yep.
And you've got Mon Denson, certainly a more powerful back than A.J. Turner, back in the game.
This is where you lean on that big offensive line we talked about behind big Zach Bailey and try to go in there and get this touchdown for your offense. That's what I expect them to do here. Give it to Mon Denson, let him bulldoze his way in there.
After further review, the runner's knee was down with the ball in his possession at that 1/2-yard line. So it'll be 2nd down and goal at that spot. South Carolina is taking a charge timeout to avoid a 10-second subtraction.
Good decision there by South Carolina. Again, can take that timeout to avoid that. Anytime under 2 minutes, you get the ruling overturned. You get an automatic 10-second runoff, but you take a timeout. You avoid that. Still have 2 timeouts remaining. Shouldn't be an issue.
Coming up at halftime, you can watch the live performance of South Carolina's Mighty Sound of the Southeast on SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app. Does Barrett Jones play an instrument?
I used to play an instrument back in the day, actually.
Tuba.
Not a band instrument.
No?
Grew up playing the violin, actually. It's a
very nice.
Secret part of my childhood.
Wow.
Yeah.
Learn something new about you every week.
Well, you know, it's parents want to be well-rounded, I guess.
Mission accomplished. Benson dots the I, gets the ball, and leaps into the end zone for a touchdown.
Nice job there by that big offensive line. And I talked about right behind big Zach Bailey over the top. Again, all you need is 1 yard. Nice job avoiding penetration. That's the biggest goal down by the goal lines. You can't let that defensive line get any penetration. And they paved a hole, and that would have been good for 3 or 4 there for Mon Denson. That was a nice job paving the way. That's how it's supposed to look. They'll probably have that one in the cut-up reel next season when they're watching goal line tape to say this is what it's supposed to look like.
Parker White on for the extra point, and the Gamecocks lead it now 28-3.
A lot of angry Parker White fans that are tweeting at me saying I jinxed Parker White on that last field goal. So apologies to his family.
The big play on that drive, which was impressive, 8 plays, 70 yards, the Deebo Samuel catch.
Watch this juke move. Deebo Samuel puts on it.
That's not fair.
That's not fair. That's Deebo being Deebo right there. That was a nice little juke right there.
For more on Deebo Samuel, here's Alyssa Lang.
Guys, you wouldn't have known it from that run that Deebo just busted out, but on the sidelines, he was a little chilly. He's been moving constantly. I was actually standing over by the heaters as well. It's about 47 degrees right now, according to my phone, and Deebo walked over and he looked at me and he said, "It's a little chilly, isn't it?" And then he stood there in front of the heaters for a few seconds trying to warm up, and then ran back out onto the field as the offense started that touchdown drive.
Barrett, those high-tech heaters, right?
That's right. That's those jet space heaters, but they don't make them like they used to, Mike Morgan.
No?
You know, these receivers now, you always got the skill players crowding around the heaters. If you're a big lineman, you want no part of the heater.
I mean, Deebo's got a chance to be a first-round draft pick. Who knows? He could become a Chicago Bear, a Cleveland Brown. I mean, he better get used to some cold weather.
47's football weather, Mike Morgan.
Yes.
That's you know, if you I see a lot of guys out there tonight wearing sleeves, and I'm just going to tell you that there's some judgment being passed if you're wearing sleeves as an offensive lineman, particularly when it's 47 degrees. You know, it's a pride issue for an O lineman. First of all, you never wear sleeves, but particularly when it's 47 degrees, a lot of guys out there sleeving up tonight.
You were going to show up tonight in a tank top, but our producer stopped that short.
Might you wear a tie? You know, look good, represent the conference.
I think you made the right call. Bryce on first down with a modest gain. And I think the Mocs might be content with just letting that clock run down, go to halftime, regroup, and see what they can put together in the second 30 minutes of play.
And a good solid half here from the Gamecocks on both sides of the football. Jake Bentley was very sharp. A.J. Turner had some nice action. That defense really held strong against what can be a dynamic passing attack.
And the clock will hit triple zeros as both teams will go to the locker room, and the Gamecocks will enjoy a 28-3 halftime lead. Good performance on both sides of the ball. A.J. Turner, the story, with 3 touchdowns. The Gamecock defense salty against that Chattanooga offense, holding the Mocs to just 3 points. Alyssa Lang trying to track down the head Gamecock, Will Muschamp. We'll see if Will's in a good mood after what he has seen here in this first half. Alyssa, what you got?
Hey, Coach, A.J. Turner's had a great game so far today, but I didn't see him out there on that last drive. Is he okay? What's the status of your running back?
He's got a quad contusion. He should be fine.
So hopefully going into the locker room here for second half, I can give you some good news. Jackson is up 26-0 at halftime. That give you a little bit of a spark going in the second half?
Well, we got to finish the game here first.
All right, thanks, Coach.
And it's going to be a squib kick. Pounced on at the 30-yard line. Jake Bentley, precise at half number 1.
Yeah, we talked in the open about his accuracy, and I want to highlight 2 quick throws. First, look at this throw to Brian Edwards right here. A perfect job throwing it back shoulder when Brian Edwards was well covered. Put that ball exactly where he wanted to put it. Brian Edwards was able to get that right foot down and stay in bounds. And then here's the touchdown to A.J. Turner. Again, not really poorly covered by the Mocs right here, but look at the placement of that ball, just out of the outstretched arms of the safety right there. 2 great throws by Jake Bentley, and a pretty much spotless half for him as a quarterback.
And it will continue with 1 throw, 1 completion here to start off the second half, a gain of 5 yards. Bentley, last 10 quarters, does not get a whole lot better than that. 72%, 6 touchdowns, and 1 pick. Dumps one underneath, and that'll be good for a first down out to the 41-yard line of Brian Edwards, who earlier tonight surpassed the 2,000-yard mark for his career. Bentley, again, they stay with tempo, and this time hit as he throws, and that's another one of those passes you were alluding to, Barrett. It goes statistically as an incompletion, but it's the wise choice.
Yeah, you're right. That's really been his only incompletions tonight. You see right here, Cooper coming off the edge. Jake Bentley does a nice job stepping up in the pocket to avoid a sack and be able to get rid of the football. That's something he really does nicely, is moves around the pocket, uses his body.
Threads the needle there to Shi Smith, who was closely covered, but the ball right on target. One thing we asked offensive coordinator Brian McClendon about is if you could pick one thing for him to improve on, what would it be? Jake Bentley said, just stay within the offense. Sometimes he gets a little too daring, a little too cute with the football. That's not what they need out of Jake Bentley. Just make the safe play. He's got a great arm. He's going to be able to make plays that a lot of quarterbacks can't. Sometimes he would take some unnecessary gambles. On 3rd and 4. Bentley cocks and fires and completes another one in stride to the 40. Cut back and lasso down at the 34. And still on his feet. Oh my goodness. Shi Smith, what in the world was that? Touchdown. 53 yards.
What an individual effort right here by Shi Smith. Obviously a nice throw by Jake Bentley to get the party started, but after that, that was all Shi Smith. I think the crowd had already kind of looked down to continue eating their halftime snacks when all of a sudden Shi Smith popped out of that group of people and popped into the end zone. A great play by Shi Smith. And again, we talked about probably the fastest of this group of receivers. He got to show off that speed there on that touchdown.
Yeah, he's their burner, but he's not known to break tackles like that.
That's right. Must be in the weight room.
Great individual effort by Shi Smith, his third receiving touchdown of the season. Fourth catch of the night for Smith, the sophomore from Union County High School. And the Gamecocks on top 35-3.
Let's take another look here at this Shi Smith touchdown. A nice job by Jake Bentley taking a little heat off that pass, picking up the first down, but there's 3 or 4 guys, and I'm kind of surprised they didn't blow it dead. I wonder if the Mocs actually thought there that they were going to blow it dead. Never blew the whistle. In fact, looked like number 40, Marshall Cooper, had him completely wrapped up there. Excuse me, it's...
Well, Fritz and Dowdle both have
Dowdle. Marshall Cooper there's on the back. Fritz and Dowdle. But nobody took him to the ground. And a great job by Shi Smith, just continuing to churn those legs and not going down easily. Just a great individual effort there by Shi Smith. And that's one for the highlight reel there for Shi's highlight tape.
Well, and again, you know, Deebo Samuel, senior, Brian Edwards, a junior, who could possibly entertain the NFL draft. You've got to get some young guys some work. Josh Vann, we talked about earlier. Shi Smith has had a busy night so far with that touchdown and 4 catches overall. That's the longest reception of the season for Shi Smith. Certainly the most entertaining one as well. Will take it at the 25, and we say hello once again to Alyssa Lang.
Yeah, guys, as the Gamecocks go back on defense, a little bit of an update for you. We showed him earlier in the game, J.C. Horn, when he came off early. He had that bag of ice on his left ankle. I caught up with head coach Will Muschamp coming out of halftime, and he said he would be out for the remainder of the game. He does have a left ankle sprain, but they think they'll be able to get him back this season.
Well, they'll certainly want him, Alyssa. Got some big games coming up. Of course, this was for bowl eligibility. Clemson next week, trying to snap a nasty losing streak to in-state rival Clemson. Makeup game, which turns out to be Akron a week later, could be potentially for win 7 or 8, depending on how things go in this one in Clemson. And of course, good chance of making another bowl game, and that's nothing to sneeze at. Again, it'll be 3 consecutive years. Jake Bentley knew all about that. The first thing out of his mouth in our meeting yesterday was, hey, we got a chance to do something that's only been done once before in school history. Clemson game obviously will be a daunting task. Akron out of the MAC, led by Terry Bowden, former SEC coach while he was with the Auburn Tigers. And a win tonight would tie Steve Spurrier for the most wins by a Gamecock head coach in their first 3 years. And Will Muschamp will be smiling at that. A couple of guarded jerseys in the backfield, including Shamik Blackshear.
Yeah, great play right here by Shamik Blackshear. See him there on the stunt on the outside. It just knifes his way underneath the right tackle, Harrison Moon. Get pressure up in the face and then finishes it. Does a great job of wrapping it up and finish the sack. And that's exactly what Will Muschamp wanted to see, is being able to generate a pass rush with rushing only forward. Something that, if you can do, it really frees you up to play coverage on the back end. Haven't been able to do it consistently all season, but that's a step in the right direction there for Shamik Blackshear.
A long road for Shamik Blackshear, former 5-star recruit, Bluffton High School in South Carolina. Another 3rd and long, and again running for his life is Giano.
They're going to get with a horse collar right there.
And he'll be bailed out by a horse collar penalty. They got 52 on the infraction. That would be... double check.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense number 52. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That's Kingsley Enagbare. Enagbare, a backup linebacker. We're going to see a lot of backups in this second half if things continue the way they are for Carolina.
That's just frustrating there for the defensive coaching staff. You do a great job. Get a sack on 2nd down, force a 3rd and long, and get bailed out with a penalty right there. Got to be fundamentally sound, particularly when you're bringing down that signal caller. They're going to call that every time.
Enagbare, a true freshman out of Atlanta. On 1st down. Whips it out to the right side. And Tyrell Price will tiptoe out of bounds after a gain of 3 or 4, and now another late flag.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 35. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Well, that's Daniel Fennell. Now, he's a veteran. He ought to know better.
Well, he did a fantastic job of playing that. Bodied up Bryce, not only the receiver, but then got sloppy on the tackle. Can't grab the face mask. A nice fundamental play by Daniel Fennell on taking on the block. But you got to finish it the right way. That's been the talk this week. Is their defensive coordinator, T-Rob, is what they call him, Travaris Robinson. Finishing those tackles is something that South Carolina has not done a good job of, particularly last week late in the game. Did not tackle well. Got to tackle well and also got to tackle legally.
First down, buying time, backpedaling, beautiful throw. That's a big-time throw right there. Throwing, backing up on the play and hitting Bryce Nunnally in stride.
What a play right there by Nick Tiano. He's got pressure in his face from Daniel Fennell. Nick Tiano able to throw that one off his back foot. Again, look at the route running by Nunnally. Just has a great sense. Finds the hole right there. Looks like cover three, just with three guys deep. There's a little hole right there on that corner route, and Nunnally recognized the coverage and found the hole. And again, just extremely impressed with this young man's game here tonight.
Easily Tiano's best throw of the night, the former Mississippi State Bulldog. Handed off here. Bryce banging bodies through the right side of that line for a pickup of a couple. You know, the other thing you were talking about, T-Rob, Travaris Robinson, their defensive coordinator, he said, we've got to do a better job at takeaways. Last year, the Gamecocks were plus 11, and that's living a charmed life. And it's not realistic to expect that every year, but to go from plus 11 to minus 5, it's a 16 turnover swing from a year ago, and usually that's going to cost you a win or two.
You know, coaching staffs talk about turnovers almost in a mystical way sometimes. Sometimes it's hard to explain why they seem to come in bunches, but for whatever reason, they have not come this year for the Gamecocks.
What did T-Rob tell us? He said, I had a dream the other night that we actually forced 6 turnovers in a game. It's the best night of sleep I've had all month. Pass falls incomplete, intended for Parker.
Sometimes you're in the right place and you just can't jump on the ball. I know last week against Florida, there were several times where T-Rob was telling us that one time the ball was laying on the ground after a strip sack of Felipe Franks. 2 guys were sitting there looking at it, and Jordan Scarlett, the running back for Florida, hopped on it. Just a lot of frustrating near misses in the turnover game this year for these Gamecocks.
You got the holdback coach there making sure T-Rob doesn't get a penalty. Stay off the sideline there.
It's Coach Dielman right there. You don't want to mess with him. You don't want to mess with T-Rob though. He's a pretty tough-looking guy.
3rd down and 7. 5-man rush, all kinds of time. Throws down the sideline, incomplete. Pass was covered on the play by Rashad Fenton, intended for Joseph Parker. We'll see what the Mocs decide to do here on 4th down.
Yeah, really good technique right there by Fenton, just using his body, forcing the defender out of bounds, shielding him off. Let's take a look here, see if we can see Fenton there using his body. Good job legally, not pushing him, not holding him. He has every right to go for the ball as well when the ball's in the air like that. It's a good technique. Forcing a 4th down, and they are going to kick it.
39-yard attempt by Olmo. Hold is good. Kick is not. Wide left. Now a tough break for the Mocs, who had a good drive, but it winds up empty.
Trying to take a look here and see if maybe somebody got a hand on that field goal. Looked like it had a funky spin, but regardless, it is 35-3, Gamecocks on top.
This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. Gamecocks on 1st down. Deshaun Fenwick in the game at tailback, and he gets a carry. I mentioned the injured backs for the Gamecocks. Rico Dowdle, we have not seen him at all. He's had that ankle injury. Trying to keep him healthy for next week. Tyson Williams, a broken hand. Mondenson went down earlier tonight, but then came back and actually scored a touchdown. Keep it in the hands Lions of Fenwick. Isaiah Mack on the tackle, the star defensive lineman for Chattanooga, came into this game with 76 tackles.
Yeah, he's a good-looking player. You don't often see 76 tackles from a defensive lineman. Coach has said he looks like an SEC D lineman, and I saw him on the field in warmups. I wholeheartedly agree.
11.5 tackles for loss for Mack. And they'll have a chance for a TFL right here. It won't be Mack. Instead, it'll be number 4, Tavon Lawson, outside linebacker.
We wondered who we might see at running back. We knew A.J. Turner. Again, Coach told us at halftime he had a quad contusion, and you think being up 35-3, you might not want to risk A.J. Turner. You might need him next week against Clemson. So, in comes Fenwick, and now Mon Denson is back on the field here for the Gamecocks. So it might be those two guys from here on out through the second half.
3rd down and 6. Gamecocks 3 of 6 on 3rd down tonight. Bentley from the pocket. Flares it out far side. Weaving his way to a 1st down. That's Denson. Cooper on the stop for the Mocs.
Again, Jake Bentley just so in control of this offense. Watch him look to the right, then look to the left. Finally take his 3rd option to check down, get the ball to Mon Denson, let him make a man miss and pick up the 1st down. He's sitting back there. The O-line's doing a great job of protecting for him. He's picking apart this defense.
His low moment, without question, came in that Kentucky game.
Yep.
Really humbled. Really, the entire team was humbled. At that point, I don't think people realized how good Kentucky would turn out to be. And Jake Bentley was very upfront with us in our meetings yesterday. He said, yeah, you know, I had to stop trying to do too much. Sometimes, admittedly, I try to do too much. I try to make plays that aren't there. And sometimes it's just best to, like we talked about earlier, either take a sack, throw it out of bounds, whatever the case may be. And that was a low moment maybe for this team, but they have had several high moments since then. They've won some close games against Tennessee, against Missouri, Florida, obviously a punch to the stomach in that second half, and now we'll see how this team rebounds the rest of the way. So far, so good tonight.
Well, it's been fun to see what this offense is capable of. You know, when Jake Bentley is playing within the system, just taking what the defense gives him, they're playing at an extremely high level right now, and I understand this is UT Chattanooga, but look, they've played well the last 3 weeks, and this is now 4 weeks in a row. I think it'll be very interesting when they go to Clemson to watch how this offense performs. There's a lot of probably concern about how this defense will hold up against a high-powered Clemson offense, but Jake Bentley's got these guys rolling right now.
Just 3-man rush, and that 3-man rush almost got a sack, finally did. Jake Bentley was trying to get out of the tackle Devoncha Maxwell, but he could not do it.
Well, I'm not sure. I think Jake Bentley might have been thinking to himself he wasn't sure if he was out of the pocket, so he wasn't sure if he could just throw this one to the bench. He was out of the pocket. He probably should have. But wisely gets down there as he sees big number 5, Derek Mahaffey, coming to clean up the leftovers, and being 3rd down, I think it was probably a wise choice to take the sack there. But you see just the strength of Jake Bentley. I was impressed seeing him in person. He's a pretty big kid. He's got great size and frame to him, and the coaches say he's a hard worker in the weight room.
He still has that baby face, but he's a strong body, and when you talk to him, you feel like you're talking to a 45-year-old grizzled offensive coordinator. I mean, you don't feel like you're talking to a college kid.
So we're going to false start here.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 9. 5-yard penalty. It remains 4th down.
But you're right, Mike. I think a lot of that comes from being a coach's kid. You know, I mean, a lot of times when you meet guys who've been around the game for a long time. Obviously, his father, Bobby Bentley, was actually his high school coach when he was a freshman, and now the running backs coach here at South Carolina. And he is he's been around the game for a long time, and that shows when you talk to him. Incredibly heady, not only about football knowledge, but also just about how to be a leader on a football team.
Joseph Charlton has had a tremendous year and career as a Gamecock punter, and gets off a good boot here. 42-yard punt with no return. Gamecocks up 35-3. Victory for Steve Spurrier. In his 8 years, that surpassed Rex Enright for the most wins by a Gamecock coach. And some guy named Jadeveon Clowney had 4.5 sacks in that game.
Who's that, Jadeveon Clowney?
Well, you know a thing or two about Jadeveon Clowney because you went to some award shows with him, right?
I did. Jadeveon, I was just so glad I never had to block him. The guy was a monster.
Of course, we're talking about the Palmetto Bowl, which will take place next week, and really one of the better rivalries in college football. Doesn't get some of the hype and hoopla some of the other ones that go on, but in this state it means everything. There are no pro teams in the state of South Carolina. You're either a Gamecock or a Tiger. There's not much in between. Clemson has gotten the better of it lately. They've won 4 in a row. The Gamecocks win 5 in a row. Now Clemson has won 4 in a row, and we'll try to make it 5 on Saturday. Carolina would love nothing more than to spoil the season for Dabo Swinney and company. Wide open target at the 25 is Alex Trotter. And Trotter will gallop the first down yardage out to the 39-yard line. Rivalry week, we love it, don't we? The Egg Bowl, Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Georgia Tech. That's right, it is Thanksgiving Day. The Iron Bowl, Auburn, Alabama.
Know a little bit about that one, Mike.
Yes, you do. Kentucky and Louisville. Louisville in a tailspin. And Auburn, Alabama, I tell you, Auburn can make up for a lot of things that have gone wrong this year if they could somehow spring an upset, but I'm not sure if anybody's going to pick that one. Out of Bryant-Denny Stadium. You got awfully quiet there, Barrett Jones, but I know deep down inside there's a voice saying, no chance.
I'm trying to break my homer tendencies, Mike Morgan.
I admire that.
It'll be a good football game.
You folks want to hear Barrett Jones be humbled a little bit, because it's hard to be humble when you win 3 national titles and an Outland Trophy and many other superlatives. 2010, you want to hear a little sandstorm?
Oh, man.
You were in this building. How'd that work out?
I still have nightmares about the only time I came here as a player in 2010. South Carolina beat the brakes off of us. It was a Steven Garcia had the game of his life. Marcus Lattimore, Alshon Jeffrey was on that team. They were stacked and they killed us. We wanted no part of it. It was 35-21. I still hear sandstorm in my nightmares to this day.
It is a catchy tune.
It's a catchy tune, but I wish I could like it. It just it brings back some memories of all kind of funky blitzes that they were drawing up on us that day, and it was a tough day. It broke a long win streak Alabama had coming into that game, and we wanted no part of this building. I tell you, this place gets rowdy. It gets pretty rowdy, and you hear that rooster crow a few times, and they get going in here.
You were the defending national champions in 2010. We saw Marcus Lattimore yesterday, who's on the staff now for South Carolina. He's lost some weight. He's looking lean and mean.
He looks great. And Coach has told us what an asset he's been to have a guy like that on your staff. I think he's director of player development, really has done a fantastic job of helping guys understand. What better guy to talk about life after football? Here's a guy who thought he was probably going to be a first-round draft pick, probably would have been, if not for some injuries, and did a nice job positioning himself as a great young man, where now I'm sure could have gotten the job just about anywhere, but now came back home and working for South Carolina, doing a fantastic job here for Coach Will Muschamp.
You said your teammates on that Alabama defense said he was the hardest guy to bring down all year.
They did. They said they wanted no part of that guy, and they used to tackle Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson in practice. They said Marcus Lattimore was a different kind of cat.
Great run there by Tiano for a first down. There's Marcus Lattimore. We'll talk about a fan favorite. You want to talk about a beast back when he was a player.
Yeah, he might look svelte in that picture, and he was always svelte, but he was probably, I don't know, 20 or 30 pounds bigger than that. He had some thighs that were about the size of pine trees. He could run through a hole, and he was a big cat.
Not a bad guy to have involved with your program. Wasn't that long ago he was gashing SEC defenses on his way to a great career. First down for the Gamecock 39. Tiano with a penalty flag on the field. Rifles one complete to the 32. We'll see what the laundry's all about.
See the penalty, but it's in the neighborhood of illegal formation. Possibly. I have been wrong almost every time tonight, Mike, and I'm usually pretty good at
illegal
these things.
Shift, offense, 2 players moving at the same time.
Redemption.
Not reset for a full second.
Close enough.
Now,
5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Alex Trebek would not have given it to you. I will. That's the kind of guy
I'm a big Jeopardy fan.
Yes.
So I should have said, what is illegal shift, I guess.
Oh, man. You're a great Scrabble player from what I hear, when you're not playing the violin.
Oh, Mike. I can't tell you anything. Mike Morgan is not trustworthy. He is not a good secret keeper. He'll roast you out on air.
I'm all about a good triple word score now. Come on. 4-man rush. That's complete. Over the middle at the 35. A lot of backups in right now for the Carolina defense, not surprisingly. My favorite name of the night on that reception, Bingo Morton.
That's a great name. Yeah, I think there are some backups, and we talked to T-Rob, the defensive coordinator for South Carolina, and he told us, in the secondary, we don't really have a whole lot of backups. There's only really 8 DBs that are healthy, and I think they already have one banged up tonight. So probably see some guys that still get a lot of playing time there in that secondary with how thin they are.
Second and short. That will move the chains. Fumble on the play, and it's recovered by Carolina.
Yeah, it looks like Damani Staley did a nice job hopping on that football right there, but a great job. We talked about South Carolina not forcing enough turnovers. They forced a turnover there, got the ball back to their offense. Damani Stanley on that recovery. Gamecocks had the ball. We'll see how many more snaps we get out of Jake Bentley tonight.
Well, guess what? Old T-Rob just got himself a takeaway from his defense.
He sure did.
And maybe he'll have some good dreams tonight.
That's right. I don't know if he got 6 yet, but I think he'll take 1 at this point. We do see Jake Bentley is trotting out back on the field, so we'll see him for at least one more drive.
Good chance we might see Michael Scarnecchia, the senior, who played well earlier this season when Jake Bentley was dinged up. He got dinged up, hard hit after a strong run by Deshaun Fenwick. Michael Bean on the stop for the Bucks. The Ducks want to get another play off before the end of the quarter. And that'll be the end of quarter number 3. Gamecocks up by 32. A lot of standout performances tonight. Jake Bentley, A.J. Turner, and Shi Smith. 4 catches, including this remarkable touchdown catch and run. All Gamecocks here on senior night. 4th quarter of play. Mike Morgan, LeBarrett Jones, and Alyssa Lang. Senior night in Columbia. The Gamecocks looking to become bowl eligible for the 3rd straight year. They're back on the winning track after a tough loss last week in the Swamp. Bentley still in the game. Fires one over the middle to Deebo Samuel. Foot race, look out! 1 man to beat, and he is gone. 61 yards for Deebo Samuel.
Just a fantastic throw right there by Jake Bentley. We got a little RPO action, so it's a run originally. Look at Jake Bentley's eyes, looking at that safety. Hits Deebo Samuel right in stride. We talk about his ball placement. Hits him right in stride, allows him to use that speed to get to the next level. Just a perfectly executed RPO right there on that play. Again, a run pass option. Can't do it any better than that, Mike Morgan.
Scouts love them some Deebo Samuel. You can just see him working in the slot at the next level and being one heck of a weapon. Deebo enjoying a great night. Jake Bentley just tied a career high, his 4th touchdown pass.
Yeah, you got to get the ball in your playmaker's hands. Again, that's Deebo Samuel. And Deebo does all the rest, makes a few man miss, turns on the Jets, finds his way to pay dirt. Gamecocks up big.
Season, and he is far from done. Still games to be played this year. For Jake Bentley and Deebo Samuel, a memorable night here at Williams-Brice Stadium.
Yeah, Deebo has been absolutely electric tonight. Obviously, being senior night, you always want to have a big night on senior night, but he's got look at this juke move right here, man. Puts him in the spin cycle, almost gets in the end zone, steps out just short. He's been fantastic tonight and just capped it off with a perfect little RPO execution right there. Bentley hits him right in stride. Deebo turns on the Jets and does the rest. That's when you're Jake Bentley, you love having number 1 line up in the slot for you. As you see his stats there tonight, 5 catches, 112 yards, and that touchdown.
I think Deebo's back. What do you say?
I think so.
The pass is catch, but out of bounds. Oh. Again, Bryce Nunnally, the body control, great route runner. You can see why they love him.
I love Bryce Nunnally, man. I think he's been fun to watch tonight. I think if you're a Gamecock fan watching this broadcast, you got to kind of tip your cap to Bryce Nunnally. He's, I think, a player we're going to see, along with Deebo Samuel, we're going to see both of those guys on Sundays. I just have a feeling.
Right there with you.
If you're a guy like Bryce Nunley, look, this is an opportunity, right? I mean, Bryce Nunley's a guy in FCS who's been making a lot of waves, but this will probably be the first film that scouts watch on him is how did you play against SEC competition? He's made his mark here tonight.
Sure has. Deep ball uncorked again. Receiver fell on the play. That was Nunley slipping and falling, so no chance for a grab there. Rashad Fenton was on the coverage step for step.
Yeah, of course, every time we talk about Nunley, now he's going to fall down on a route. We're over here talking good about you, Bryce. Come on, man.
Take that one off the tape.
Don't fall down off the route, man.
Wipe
Look
that
at
one
him.
off
He's fast.
Put that off the reel.
Still, though, 4 catches for 84 yards. That's a pretty good night against an SEC defense when you're playing with 10 other FCS guys around you. I think it's, again, a very impressive kid, and even more impressive are what the coaches said about him as a person, kind of teammate he is.
Engineering major, great student, great athlete, and a great future. 3rd and long. Whistling the pass. Great coverage again by Fenton.
A really nice play by Fenton here. You always got to be concerned with these plays. You have to time this up properly to make sure you don't get pass interference. I know you maybe got there a split second early, but in football lingo, that's great timing. You're not going to get that one called too much. Good timing by Fenton to break up the pass and force another punt by the Mocs.
Josh Vann back to receive the punt. He's going to let this one take a bounce. It'll be a good one for the Mocs inside the 25-yard line. It's been a superb night for Jake Bentley. We might see his backup, Michael Scarnecchia, the senior, when we come back. Well, don't ask me to explain what goes into a quarterback efficiency rating, but the numbers that Jake Bentley put up tonight will equate to the best efficiency rating for a Gamecock quarterback in 5 seasons. Pretty much flawless. The 4 incompletions were balls he threw away on purpose. 339 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions as he continues to put together a great second half of the season. And now that'll pave the way for Michael Scarnecchia to get some reps. Scarnecchia had a terrific outing earlier in the year in his first career start against Missouri. Threw for 249 yards and 3 touchdowns in the Gamecocks win over Missouri. Nice to see the senior out of Fleming Island, Florida, get some reps on senior night.
Yeah, always good when you can get seniors in there. Obviously, it's a special night. Senior night's always emotional. I remember as a player, you got your whole family out there on the field, and it doesn't matter who you're playing. It's a time for you to kind of just take inventory of your 4 years there and what you've been able to accomplish in your career. And your mom's over there crying, then you're expected to go play a football game.
Scarnecchia through the hands of the intended target and an interception for Dowdle.
But it's going to come back. They're going to have either a hold or pass interference on the defense. Here it looks like they held the receiver as he was coming out of his break there. So good throw there by Scarnecchia. It's the same exact play, I believe, that Deebo Samuel scored on earlier. The RPO, run pass option. Good read by Scarnecchia.
Prior to the interception, holding against the eligible receiver, number 1 of the defense. The penalty is 10 yards from previous spot and includes an automatic first down.
That's the guy that got the pick, Brandon Dowdle.
2 in a row. Yeah, look right down here. Watch the action. That's where the pass interference is going to come. Again, a good read by Scarnecchia. It's an RPO. Same play. Yep, you can see the tug of the jersey. That's an easy call for the officials.
I don't think that's the right number, though. It's not Dowdle on the hold.
Yeah, it was not Dowdle. But it was a hold, however.
Nevertheless,
Scarnecchia on senior night does not throw a pick. Gets another opportunity.
Burrowing his way for a couple is Fenwick, who becomes a busy ball carrier tonight.
That's when a head coach like Will Muschamp, even though it came back, gets on the headphones and tells the OC, hey, off the coordinator, I'm going to need you to hand the ball off here. So he does not like to see those turnovers, even when they're in the. Even when they get called back, they make a defensive-minded coach a little bit jumpy.
Again, turnover margin, which was a huge asset for this Gamecock team a year ago, plus 11. -5 this year. That number will be augmented a bit after the game tonight, but overall, it has not been the strength of this team. And as you mentioned, sometimes it's kind of like this majestic feeling that they're just going to happen, or it's a matter of luck. I mean, you could teach it all you want, but you got to get some breaks too, right?
I mean, it is a weird thing because obviously for defensive coaches, you're doing the same drills every year, and some years they happen and some years they don't.
Fenwick ahead for the first down.
Sometimes it's hard to understand why they come, and I think, you know, there's almost a confidence thing about them sometimes where they start to come, you start to look for them more. Obviously, there's certain players that have a knack for getting turnovers, have a knack for punching the ball out, have a knack for intercepting it. But then sometimes it just seems to kind of happen. It's really hard to comprehend how they seem to come in bunches.
I'll give you a classic example of what you're talking about. Remember last year, one of the big stories and phenomenons in college football, Scarnecchia operates off of play action. And the throw. Perfect strike. Stepping out of bounds after the catch was Josh Van, so his busy night continues. It's a 9-yard pickup for Van. But remember, we'll take another look at the reception by Van.
Yeah, nice throw right here by Scarnecchia at Van on a little curl route. The outside throws all the way across his body. Great ball positioning. Again, you love to see this for Scarnecchia. You mentioned it, Mike, just how big that win was for their season against Missouri when Bentley was injured and had to call upon Scarnecchia, and he came through, and that will be a moment that young man will remember for the rest of his life.
He was terrific in that game. In fact, you know how it is. The most popular guy in the team is always the backup quarterback.
Always.
Jake Bentley was struggling a little bit at the time, so you had some battle cries out here for Scarnecchia for starter. Obviously, Jake Bentley is the guy that you go with here, and not only for this season but the future. But Scarnecchia earned the right to maybe get a few more reps this season. It's not a bad situation if you got two guys that can do it. Some teams don't have one. Scarnecchia going to show off the arm here. Ooh, a little bit too strong.
Why not? Why not? See, the receiver going to the hedges there, Shi Smith. See if we can find a squirrel back there in those hedges.
Kareem Moore on the coverage.
He's limping. He might. I don't know if he hurt himself or he has just a few, briars that kind of poked himself over there. Those hedges are, Mike. You and I were walking down there earlier. They're pretty close to the sideline.
Right.
Now, I mean, they're probably about 4 yards from the back of the end zone. You saw right there, easily accessible for a skill player. It'd be hard for an O-lineman to find their way into the hedges, but skill players get a lot of momentum.
On second down, picking his way through tacklers and still on his feet is Fenwick. Oh, Deshaun Fenwick making a name for himself with a 35-yard pickup.
Yeah, great play by Fenwick right here. Look at just an outside man play. Had a few pullers. Great timing by Fenwick, getting in behind his big uglies. I say that affectionately. Breaking a few tackles and almost finding a way to score. You like to see these second-team guys getting in here, being able to run the offense. Scarnecchia manufacturing a good drive.
Again, it's Fenwick, and he'll dive in for the score. The backups getting it done on that drive. Scarnecchia and Deshaun Fenwick.
I love to see that from the coaching staff right there. A lot of coaches kind of in these games, they come in and just try to take the air out of the ball and run it over and over and over. But I like to see the backups run the offense. You saw an RPO earlier that got a penalty on. You saw a few throws, saw a ball even deep. These guys are really truly getting game reps. These are very valuable right now for the future.
91 yards on 12 carries for Fenwick. The Gamecocks put their 7th touchdown of the night on the board.
See right here, a nice little spin move right there from Fenwick. Getting out in space, setting himself up, and they go to Fenwick again at the goal line, and he punches it in for a touchdown. Gamecocks up big. Think out loud in my direction all the time, so I got to see some free thinking out loud. Greg is obviously doing a great job here for SEC Network, and yes, I'll be sure to tune in, Alyssa.
All right, now that we've given a mega promo, let's talk about this team, this South Carolina team, and what this game means moving forward. If they win the Florida game, all the talk, all the buzz is how great this team is playing, how they're on a roll. Obviously, the fourth quarter, we all know that changed the overall tone of this season, at least temporarily. Jake Bentley, terrific tonight. This whole team has answered the bell tonight, including another takeaway. An interception at the 45. And the Gamecocks would be back in the driver's seat, stepping out of bounds on the pick. And it's number 24.
Israel Mukwamu right here. A great job by Israel Mukwamu. I'm not sure what Nick Tiano was seeing right here. That was throwing it right to Israel Mukwamu, but a nice job by the young freshman. And I know one man who's going to like that, Mike Morgan, is their defensive coordinator, Travaris Robinson. Again, we talked about one of the more turnovers. That turnover margin getting better and better by the minute. Now 2 turnovers tonight, forced by the Gamecocks.
Boy, Mukwamu is a guy that they're really high on. He's a 6'4" corner, a freshman.
Don't see that much.
Out of Louisiana. They had to beat out some pretty big name schools to get him. And they believe that secondary, which has been very debilitated this year, is going to be a strength in the near future. Speaking of the near future, DeCarrion Joyner is an electric recruit and quarterback that's going to see some action right here. He's going to throw on his first play, and it's broken up at the last second. Intended for the tight end, Kyle Markway. We were told this young man might play. He's a freshman out of North Charleston. Tremendous athlete. A whole lot of electricity when he's out there on the field. And a young man that is just trying to make a name for himself. Remember now, the new rules, you do get to play in 4 games without burning up a year of eligibility.
Well, that's where it really comes in handy right here, is you get a chance to have a look at a kid like DeCarrion. I love the rule. I think it's great, particularly for freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it'll be interesting to see as the rule continues to evolve. Will we see kind of a free agency period for some players after 4 games like we saw for Kelly Bryant this year? I don't necessarily love that part of the rule, but I do love the idea that freshmen get a chance to possibly play at the end of the season and some games against lesser caliber opponents, because you really just can't simulate game action, right? I mean, you can practice all you want, but until you get out there and you're seeing the live action, you really don't know what you have in a player.
Joyner. Stop and start now. Here's that magical breakaway ability that he has, turning nothing into something.
He looks exciting right here, Mike Morgan. This guy's lightning in a bottle. Look at him right here. He's looking all around the field, looks for a little lane, and look at that acceleration. I love the acceleration. Makes a man miss out in space. This kid looks like he's going to be a lot of fun to watch here for some years to come here in the SEC. And again, you love that he's getting some reps.
They had a guy here years ago, going back to the Lou Holtz and Steve Spurrier earlier days, by the name of Savell Newton. That kind of cat-quick type quarterback. Gonna go for it here on 4th down of the yard. Joyner will give it. And second effort, I don't think so. I don't think Fenwick is going to be there. Give the Mocs credit. They're not quitting. They just put together a 4th down stop. So it will be Chattanooga football when we come back. Some of the all-time wins leaders from a starting quarterback standpoint. Connor Shaw, number 1, Ellis 2, Steve Tannehill, Gary Harper, Stephen Garcia, each at 20 wins. There's Todd Ellis doing some radio. You can't see him in your picture there, but Tommy Suggs, the analyst, another former Gamecock quarterback. And how about this? I'm going to do a little 6 degrees of Joe Morrison. Joe Morrison was Todd Ellis's coach. Joe Morrison, before he coached South Carolina, was the head football coach of UT Chattanooga in the 70s. There is your connection to Joe Morrison.
Where does Kevin Bacon come in? I'm confused.
I'm sure if they were in a home movie, Kevin Bacon played a role in it.
Okay.
There you see Joe Morrison. Gotta love the pants back at UT Chattanooga. I mean, those are sharp. And then the Black Magic days here in Columbia in the 80s. 39 wins. They had some mighty talented, skilled players back in those days. Sterling Sharp, Robert Brooks, Harold Green, just to name a few.
Some nice pants. You go straight to the golf course with those bad boys.
Absolutely.
Don't have to change after work. What an advantage.
Of course, eventually, it'd be Brad Scott, and then it would be Lou Holtz, who really got this program turned around. A couple of memorable years, 2000, 2001, and Steve Spurrier, kind of a coup to get the head ball coach, who was the all-time wins leader here, and really set the bar, kind of the high watermarks, 3 consecutive 11-win seasons. And now Will Muschamp trying to get the program back on solid footing after a rough end to the Spurrier era. Crossing route, complete to the 22-yard line. Jake Bentley, meanwhile, you know, if Carolina holds on to win this,
looking likely, Mike.
I'm going to say that's a pretty good bet.
It's a pretty thick limb, you're saying.
Although I'm not a gambling guy by nature. 18 wins would be the grand total for Bentley. And the record, again, 27 held by Connor Shaw, who was so good in those 3-11 win seasons that I alluded to. Dylan Thompson also played a valuable role, but Connor Shaw, you could make a strong argument. Best quarterback, it's the best career of any quarterback in Gamecock history. On first down.
I agree with you, but I'm just telling you, if you were not here in 2010, a guy a little bit lower down that list, Steven Garcia.
Yep.
That night, and Gamecock fans will be with me on this, he was the greatest quarterback in South Carolina history. For one night in 2010, that guy could do no wrong. He was incredible.
He was terrific in that game. And of
lit
course,
it up.
Had some help around him. Not bad when you got a guy by the name of Lattimore behind him. But you're right, he didn't miss a throw in that game.
Throwing to a guy named Jeffrey, too. And Gurley, I think.
Sean Jeffrey went on to have a great career and now still enjoying life in the NFL. Pass completed to 30. Another grab for Joseph Parker. As we've reached the final 7 minutes of this game, the Gamecock's going to become bowl eligible for the 3rd straight year.
Yep.
And as we were talking kind of big picture, Barrett, I mean, there's still a lot of things to like. I would like this team so much more if they were healthy on defense. You know, if you could somehow get those guys back. You were mentioning you're a big fan of their linemen, particularly on the interior. You know, you got Kinlaw and Thomas, Smith, DJ Wanham when he's healthy is a game breaker on that defense. But the linebacking core, the secondary, they've been nicked up, and it's been tough to be a dominating defense when you have those type of losses. Man, it's wide open and caught inside the 20. Guess who it is? Bryce Nunnally, and that's going to put him over 100 yards in an SEC venue. What a game for Bryce Nunnally.
We've been raving about this guy all night. Look at this route right here. Little stick knot, sticks him to the outside, puts him in the spin cycle, and probably should have been a touchdown. His quarterback, Nick Tiano, underthrew him right there, but a nice job by Nunnally adjusting to at least make the catch. But again, he had his man beat by 5 or 6 yards, and in college football, that's about as wide open as you get right there, Mike Morgan.
Yeah, that ball's on target. You're certainly right. It's a touchdown as it stands. It goes for 57 yards. 1st and goal for the Mocs. Tiano. End zone contact. There's the flag. Got a lot of backups into the secondary right now, and some of that starting to show.
Very, very young secondary players right now. A lot of guys who are not on or too deep in this game right now, and it's clearly showing.
It's Jonathan Gibson. I don't even have him on the 3 deep.
Pass interference, defense number 36. A foul occurred in the end zone. Therefore, by rule, the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line and includes an automatic first down.
Love to see the defensive coaches there on the sidelines coaching as intensely as ever, getting after these guys. They do not want to give up a touchdown.
Tiano again. Not that time. Deflected at the line of scrimmage. That's 3 times that's happened so far.
Yep. South Carolina very fortunate. This ball was deflected. They had a man open there in the corner of the end zone, but a good job by South Carolina getting some pressure up the middle. Batting another ball down. That's what you're taught these days with how quickly quarterbacks get the ball in their hands is you get up there, and if you can't rush the passer immediately, you try to affect him with your hands. Added that to the stat book per the request of J.J. Watt, I believe. J.J. Watt wanted that added as a stat. Got added. If you see Will Muschamp, we talked about these coaches are getting after it.
If only he could have more intensity in his game.
That's right. There's not much passion.
2nd and goal. Denied. Tyrell Price tried to go airmail and had a collision while airborne.
Nice surge there in the middle of that defensive line by the Gamecocks. They will not want to give up that touchdown. See a nice job right there by Shamik Blackshear coming around the edge and cleaning it up.
This might be academic in terms of the final score, but Not to the 22 guys on the field, and not to that man, Will Muschamp. Razzle-dazzle throw. Did he scoop it? He did. Touchdown. Well-designed play. Thrown by Nunnally, caught by Tiano.
And we thought Nunnally might get a touchdown tonight. I did not think it would be a passing touchdown. Let's see if he did. He just got his hands under it. A great play right there by the big man.
I'd expect a quarterback to make that catch.
6'5" quarterback scooping it off the turf, and that was millimeters from the ground. And yes, Mike Morgan, I do occasionally use the metric system. A great, yeah, look at that play right there. A little razzle-dazzle trick play. Not only kind of underthrows it, has some pressure in his face, but Tiano scoops it right off the turf for the touchdown. Always fun to score a touchdown. That's one of those guys will remember it. You kind of feel good for Nunnally. He's had a good night tonight. Deserved a touchdown in some form or fashion.
9-play, 90-yard drive. And the extra point is blocked.
As the Mocs finally find their way on the board with a touchdown. Little trickeration. Bryce Nunnally, a good receiver. Also, apparently, a good quarterback. A big touchdown for the Mocs.
With Alyssa Lang and Barrett Jones, Mike Morgan back with you in Columbia. All Gamecocks thus far tonight. Chattanooga did get a touchdown drive. Something to smile about when you can come into an SEC venue and get a score, particularly when you're Nick Tiano, a starting quarterback, and you make a highlight catch for a score. We saw that stinger on the college football playoff coming up, and there hasn't been a whole lot of drama this year. Boy, that is a clean-cut, well-kept. Did you get a Manny Petty right before that shot?
I did. That didn't happen by accident right there, Mike Morgan.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, you see my top six right there. It's not necessarily what I think is going to happen, obviously, because I think Alabama and Georgia will play each other. I viewed it as the 4 best teams right now. I know that Notre Dame had a big win tonight, but I still think Georgia is better than most people think. It will be very interesting. Actually, we'll have the Michigan-Ohio State game next weekend on ESPN Radio. I have the call, so excited to kind of get an up-close and personal view of Michigan to kind of see what they have and if they can come away with a big win against Ohio State.
Ohio State barely beat Maryland in overtime today.
Barely. Probably shouldn't have won.
Probably shouldn't. I don't know what's happened to the Buckeye defense, but it has been lackluster.
Greg Schiano not looking too hot right now.
I can tell you this, Clemson defeating Duke tonight 35-6. That, of course, will be the Gamecocks' next opponent. Do you give Carolina any shot in Death Valley against a Clemson team right now that's hitting on all cylinders?
Well, you know, I think they're going to struggle defensively. I think Trevor Lawrence has grown a lot from the beginning of the season until now. As we take a look here. Another good-looking run here by Sean Fenwick. But, you know, I think the way this offense is playing right now, I think Jake Bentley is playing at an extremely high level. I think they can score some points against this Clemson defense. Look, Clemson secondary at times has been a little bit successful. I know they've been better in the second half of this season. But I think if South Carolina wants to have a chance to win this game, that's going to have to be a shootout, because I just don't see them getting too many stops up front and with the way this secondary looks. So Jake Bentley better bring his A game and better complete a lot of balls and keep the ball in his possession for a while if they want a chance.
Joyner, well, you can see that extra gear that very few quarterbacks have.
Got that Mike Morgan extra gear on the basketball court right there.
Thank you for noticing.
Fast break.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, this guy's lightning in a bottle. He's going to be exciting. And if you're a South Carolina fan, you got to love the acceleration he shows right there. Just that little cut up the field. That's fun to watch. And that's, if he can develop as a passer, that guy will be playing football for a long time.
You figure a bare minimum next year, Jake Bentley would be a senior. This could be your change of pace guy, kind of the way they're using Justin Fields in Georgia this year. Wait for Jake Fromm. Here's more of that. I mean, he's just fleet of foot, to say the least.
Yep. Yeah, the next step is you'd like to see him maybe survey the field a little bit more, make some accurate passes. That will come with time. This guy is obviously a tremendous athlete, and looks like he needs some of that defogger right there.
Get the defrost on.
Gotta get, you know, anytime you go skiing, you know, you got that defog stuff you put on your ski mask. Looks like he needs some of that. It's, you know, that's the risk you take of looking cool right there, Mike Morgan. You know? You're going to try to get the mask on, look all fancy and cool. You got to make sure you get the defog going.
You linemen didn't like that look, huh?
No, we were. I like the single bar right down the nose. No, I'm kidding. I'm not that old school, but gotta make sure you get the defogger going.
Now we got another quarterback in there, Jay Urich. So we're going 4th string here.
Got too much fog. Turn on the defrost.
Urich showing some wheels. Jay Urich. There you go. Let's look at the road to the championship, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Alabama trouncing the Citadel today. Georgia blows out UMass. Tua did start. Nick Saban's probably telling the media, see, I told you we needed him. We were tied at the half, 10-10. Georgia, whose only loss came at LSU. DeAndre Swift now 100 rushing yards in 3 of the last 4 games. Fields, by the way, played a lot in that game today in the win and looked very good as well in relief of Jake Fromm. So nice little tune-up. They'll take on Georgia Tech. They've had the better part of that rivalry for a while.
I think that's going to be a really good football game. I'm excited about that game in Atlanta. I think Georgia continues to get better and better each week, particularly offensively. The one question I have about Georgia is, can that front 7 hold up and apply some pressure to Tua Tagovailoa? I'm not sure. I don't think they have quite the dudes they had last year. They got some really good players, some high recruits, but they're a little bit young in that front 7. I wonder if they'll be able to get enough pressure, cause Tua to make some mistakes.
Under a minute remaining here on senior night. Gamecocks are going to pick up that elusive number 6 win. They'll be heading bowling for sure. We know that much for the 3rd straight year.
15 extra practices too. I know
Will
Muschamp likes that idea. Always, as a coach, when you have an improving football team, you like to get those practices.
Well, look, even if you didn't win the Clemson game, which, as we know, they're going to be heavy underdogs, then you take on Akron. That would be 7 wins, and you can potentially win a bowl game. That's 8 wins. That'd be 17 in the last 2 years for a program that was 3-9 a few years ago when Will Muschamp took over. So Will Muschamp feels like he's got this thing going in the right direction, and certainly has to be happy with what he saw tonight. A career night for Jake Bentley. Tied his career high with 4 touchdown passes. He was flawless. And when we come back, our own Alyssa Lang will be standing by with the starting quarterback for the Gamecocks, Jake Bentley. You are watching SEC Saturday Night, presented by Holiday Inn Express.